The Toronto Maple Leafs claim to be attempting to ignore recent history in the Stanley Cup Playoffs as feudals and maybe in a hockey-centric city. 250 miles to the northeast, Qtrs is seeking to do what he has done once before, help his team complete a reverse sweep. He was part of the 2010 Philadelphia Flyers team that did it against the Boston Bruins that year. And the Battle of Ontario has come down to two cities, one feeling dread, the other optimism. Hello everyone, I am Alec Nava. Welcome to Canada's capital. In the first three games of the series, they were controlled by the Leafs, with Toronto taking advantage of a heavily undisciplined Senators team in Game 1. 6 different players scored in a 6-2 victory, and they then won back-to-back 3-2 overtime games. The first on Max Domi's wrister for the high slot in Game 2. The second one from Simon Benoit's one-timer off an Austin Matthews face-off win in Game 3. Benoit was the one who set up Domi in Game 2. Ottawa won the last two games, the first on a 4-3 overtime victory when Jake Sanderson fired a seeing-eye wrister from the near-half boards, and the second with Linus Ullmark stopping all 29 Toronto shots, capping off with Thomas Chabot and Dylan Cozens scoring their first career playoff goals, the latter on a 2-1 shorthanded break. It's been commonly said, Toronto is 1-13 in the Matthews, Marner, Nylander era in closeout games. Many have spun that narrative. One of those losses came before Tavares signed with the Leafs, before John Tavares signed with the Leafs, and three of those when he missed the game of an injury. But Craig Berube, in his first year as the Maple Leafs head coach, is aware of all the stats and the numbers, just like the rest of the fan base. At the same time, he is trying to get his team to look ahead and not get caught up in the constant worry that Toronto is having right now, serving reminders that they have just one playoff series victory in the past 21 years, a 6-game win over the Tampa Bay Lightning in 2023. Meanwhile, the Sens can take the next step in the hopes that they become the 5th team in NHL history to erase a 3-0 series deficit to win a playoff series, joining the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs, the 1975 New York Islanders, the 2010 Flyers, and the 2014 Los Angeles Kings. They're halfway there, but Brady Tkachuk has cautioned the team against looking ahead. Ottawa has also never won a playoff series when facing elimination in their franchise history. 0-16 in this regard. The odds are still against their favor. It's not easy winning back-to-back games in the playoffs on the brink of elimination. Plenty of teams do it though, including this group. But can they make it 4 in a row? The first step is to make it 3 in a row. The Edmonton Oilers last year did that. But the last step is winning 4 in a row when trailing 3-0 in a series. The dramatic turn of events for Linus Ullmark has been super critical for a team trying to claw their way back out of a 3-0 series deficit. It's not that anyone blamed him for the goals allowed earlier in the series, but he wasn't making game-saving stops either. But now he has a .952 save percentage in his last 2 games and has looked more comfortable behind the net. The 2023 Vezina Trophy winner has the ability to steal games, and he was the main reason for their win in Game 5. One of the unexpected heroes was Dylan Cozens. This series has been challenging for him, as he had just 1 assist in the first 4 games. He primarily played with Drake Batherson as his primary winger, but David Perron and Fabian Zetterlund have alternated as the line's left winger. As the line counted on for secondary scoring, his lines have failed to produce. In fact, they've only been on the ice for almost 36 minutes of 5-on-5 hockey. With Ridley Gregg in the box, Cozens was called on to answer his first shorthanded shift of the series. He answered on a 2-on-1 goal. The Sens are understandably sticking with the same line that won them back-to-back games. They'll continue relying on top defenseman Jake Sanderson, who is 4th in average ice time per game throughout the playoffs behind the likes of Brian Dumoulin, Thomas Harley, and Brock Faber. The average ice time of Sanderson, 27-21. Faber's at 27-45, Harley at 28-39, and Dumoulin finished at 29-21. In a 5-game series, he's lost to the Carolina Hurricanes. Almost every player on the Sens has had moments of greatness in this series, and while not all have been consistently great, they have 11 different goal scorers and 14 different point scorers. For the Leafs, everything has changed in the span of a week, and the consequences that come with 2 straight losses are mounting. This game is the most important game for the core 4, where they are tasked to lead their team to winning in a hostile environment. Craig Berube tried to downplay the notion that the result of Game 5 rests on the shoulders of the core 4, which could be extended to Matt Nyes, though he isn't subject to the same weight of disappointment from past exits. While the Leafs' lack of depth scoring has been the most consistent flaw for the season, this core four needs to step up to eliminate an Ottawa team that's been gaining confidence through every game. Considering Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner are coming off a nightmare game, there are no more excuses. Morgan Rielly knows about this type of situation all too well, and while he acknowledged the nerves that come with a playoff series of this magnitude, he stressed the importance of keeping their heads above water and sticking to the plan that worked from games 1 through 3. Berube knows what's at stake. His first year at the helm of this group showed a no-nonsense, direct approach, preparing for key moments like these. It's a huge test to motivate his team to ignore the anxieties of Leafs fans find this all too familiar, to focus on the present moment and find their way back. The business-like mentality also has to extend to the accountability he's instilled on the roster. With a few tweaks to the lineup, the hope is that the Leafs lock in and get the job done. Let's get into the starting lines, beginning with the Ottawa Senators, the home team in this game, despite being the lower seed. Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, Claude Giroux on the top line. David Perron, Dylan Cousins, Drake Batherson on the second line. Ridley Gregg, Shane Pinto, Michael Amadio on the third line. Nick Cousins, Adam Gaudette, Fabian Zetterlund round out the forecore on the fourth line. Defense pairs begin with Jake Sanderson with Artem Zub. Thomas Chabot with Nick Jensen as the second pair. Tyler Kleven with Nicholas Matinpalo on the bottom pair. Linus Ullmark is the starter. Anton Forsberg is the backup. For Toronto, their lines are like this. Matt Nyes, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Max Pacioretty, John Tavares, William Nylander on the second line. Pacioretty was moved up to the second line, up from the third line. Bobby McMahon, Pontus Holmberg, Max Domi on the third line. Holmberg center sit. He previously was on the second line of Tavares and Nylander. Fourth line remains the same. Steven Lorentz, Scott Laughton and Calle Järnkrok. On the defense pairs, Morgan Rielly with Brandon Carlo, Jake McCabe with Chris Tanev, and Simon Benoit of Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Anthony Stolarz is the starter. Joseph Woll is the backup. They go to our scratches and reserves here. For Ottawa is Dennis Gilbert, Matthew Highmore, and Travis Hamonic. The healthy scratches. Hayden Hodgson remains injured with a lower body injury. They suffered on April 17th. For Toronto, their reserves and injuries are like this. The only injury of note is Yanni Hakanpää, who is on the LTIR with a knee injury all the way back from December 2nd. Healthy scratches on the reserve list are Dakota Murmas, Philippe Myers, David Kemp, Artur Aktiamov, and Nick Robertson, who is scratched for a third straight game. The Sea of Red here at Canada's capital, right along the border of Ontario and Quebec. Nerves at an all-time high. For Toronto, Ottawa playing with more confidence and with house money. They have nothing left to lose. Lyndon Slewish, the anthem singer, here at Canadian Tire Center, previously known as Scotiabank Place. And one can imagine what would happen if this is a blown 3-0 series lead. The most important game of the year is Pacioretty will be joining Tavares and Nylander on the second line. Holmberg is the third line center. McMahon and Domi on the wings. Holmberg previously occupied the second line left wing slot. Pacioretty, Tavares, Nylander was the Leafs' third most commonly used unit during the regular season. A +3 goal differential and a 48.5% share of expected goals at 5-on-5. So Pacioretty entered the lineup in Game 3 in place of Robertson. Hasn't looked back, but he hasn't found a score sheet in 3 games. He's valued for physicality, but it's possible he could be dropped further down the line if Berube is forced to make some in-game adjustments against the Sens. He hasn't made any changes to the defense core. Stolarz will start for the 6th consecutive game. With an .899 save percentage of 5 games, stellar in the early parts of the series. Joseph Woll is still the backup, and although he was strong throughout the regular season, Berube hasn't seriously considered going away from Stolarz ahead of this game. It doesn't appear that the Sens would be making any changes. Onto their lines in which they are not. So Morgan Rielly has been in this situation before. It's a lot to ask for if Leafs fans to adopt this attitude of acknowledging the nerves that come with a playoff series. He stressed the importance of keeping their heads above the water and sticking to the plan that worked. So we're talking about a fan base that sat through a blown 3-1 lead at the hands of the Montreal Canadiens, countless playoff losses to the Boston Bruins, and one series win in 8 playoff runs during the Matthews, Marner, Nylander era. Before the team on the ice has tasked with overcoming demons and getting to the second round, all they can do is stay grounded and block out the demons to the best of their ability. Rielly has 2 goals in this series. He's looked comfortable playing alongside Carlo. doesn't care about his individual stats. They're not translating to wins. It's been the goal of this team since the start of the series. It hasn't wavered. Riley said that regardless of what the core players have been through in the past, they can't dwell on the teams that have struggled in the past. All they can do is focus on the moment. And that is what is at stake here for the Leafs. The Sens are wanting to pull off the upset. 3 goals allowed, 63 shots faced for Ullmark when facing elimination. But Game 5 was first career playoff shutout. He has his reputation of not being up to par when performing in the playoffs. In years past, he faltered. But this time, he's been thriving in Games 4 and 5. How would this be in Game 6? Matthews and Pinto to take the opening draw. And we're underway here. Let's get rocking and rolling. Up the near side, Ullmark will play this one out. Runs this onto the near corner. Nyes and Matthews are both there. Down low for Marner, who gets blocked out by Sanderson. In front, this is a tie-up. And the Sens will take this one away. There was a stick check there from Matthews as he tried to keep this one inside. Rolled around, and it goes to Riley. Immediately finds Carlo. And Carlo fires it in. We'll have our first changes of this game. Up off the puck as the Sens are trying to move this on down the near side of the ice. Greg with Pinto chasing down. Chris Tanev blocked it off. And Jake McCabe will scoop it. Controls on his backhand and feeds it for Tanev. Every game in Ottawa has gone to overtime in this series. The Senators move it up the near side. John Tavares will be the first one back at the near corner. Moves it opposite side for Tanev. Who lofted up front for Nylander. Flipped it back inside are the Senators. And McCabe ran into some trouble. Stolarz plays it out onto Tanev. Up the far half boards, Pacioretty. Here is a partial 2-on-1 for Tavares and Nylander. Tavares dispossessed at the slot. Well, I believe that was Claude Giroux, who has been part of a 3-0 series comeback in 2010 with the Philadelphia Flyers on the Boston Bruins. Benoit moves it around to the far half boards. Tyler Kleven fell down. Dylan Cousins wanted to help him out. The fourth line out there for the Leafs. Scott Laughton, a former teammate of Giroux with the Flyers. Lorentz pokes it free. Getting it down deep. Go Sens go here. Chance here. Canadian Tire Center. It's a hostile environment and a haunted house. Cousins sends it in. Benoit will start up his own zone. Simon Benoit dumps it in onto the near half boards. Ullmark plays this one out of its crease and leaving it behind for Sanderson. A workhorse defenseman, averaging the 4th most ice time among defensemen in the NHL. Up and around the far half boards for Holmberg. And chasing it down is Bobby McMahon. Has Max Domi on his side. McMahon goes in. Ullmark denies it off his stick. On the first shot this game, it took 2 minutes and 8 seconds. So a partial 2-on-1 earlier, but it's Bobby McMahon catching Nick Jensen on an island behind as Domi up front to swat indicates he wants to get that inside. But Jensen blocks the passing lane and forces McMahon to cut to the inside and try and beat Ullmark. So you get Redbox, otherwise known as Owen Parkin, on board. The nerves are at an all-time high. How are you feeling for this game?
Well, I have a headache after that anthem performance, I think. That was horrible. Yeah, nervous.
Safe to say the least. The nerves are at a high here. But Craig Berube is focusing on his guys to focus on the moment and to focus on what was successful in games 1 through 3 and to adjust to what the Sens are deploying here for games 4 and 5. Kept inside by Amadio, feeds it behind. Here's Pinto. Another drop pass has to go there for Amadio. Pinto moves around and is cut off at the far corner by Brandon Carlo. Matthews is out there, and he thought there was going to be a whistle here. There was not, as Artem Zubul started up. 2 shots for Toronto. Supposed to send 0. Chopped around by Pacioretty, moved it out all the way to Ottawa zone. Across the ice for Chabot. Chabot, who scored his first career playoff goal in Game 5 of this series. Spent 9 years on his club. After far half boards, the Leafs will retake possession. William Nylander moves it ahead. Up the far boards, John Tavares up for Max Pacioretty. Swipes it on the backhand. Giroux was there. Claude Giroux with Max Pacioretty on his face. 2 old guards still going strong to this day. Pacioretty, former captain of the Montreal Canadiens. Giroux formerly with the Philadelphia Flyers. Up the near side, up comes Chabot. Chabot's shot blocked in front by Benoit as he shut out the shooting lane. Pacioretty on the tie-up with Nylander and Chabot. Batted back over to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Down the near side, it is Patches. Patches sends this for the near side, and it's played over to the far corner. First one arriving there for the Leafs was Calle Järnkrok as the fourth line gets to work. Ottawa trying to get it out, and they will move it up the middle of the ice. Matanpalo, injury substitution for Finland in the Four Nations face-off. And we thrived over the Finnish roster under Sam Hallam's squad as David Perron backhands one to keep it in. And Josh Norris be somewhere watching Brady Tkachuk in this playoffs. Former teammate of Tkachuk, best friend of him. Dumped in is collected by Riley. On the near half boards, just backhanded to keep this one inside by Nick Cousins, who eliminated the Leafs 2 years ago. And a shove towards the boards by Riley on Cousins. We stay 5-on-5. Back deep is Zetterlund, who will recollect it for Zub. Artem Zub up the middle. Sends one to pressure to keep this one inside, and they will. Chris Tanev, the first one back. He takes a big hit right behind Stolarz' crease. Jake McCabe entering into the Ottawa zone. Will drop back. Here's Holmberg holding on to it. Finds one out in front, and Domi couldn't tap in the rebound.
Oh my God.
Chris Tanev wants to keep this one inside, but the Sens will pry this one free through center. And a little hold at the center ice. And back deep, it's Omar playing this one out on the far boards as Quevin was approaching. And 5+ minutes gone here. Still no score in what has been a low-shooting series. Not a lot of shots on goal between these two teams. It's been more defensive-minded between the two of them. Entering in is OEL, Stanley Cup champion with the Panthers last year. Austin Matthews on the far half boards. And a wheel-round shot was fought off by Olmark. Ottawa still has yet to record a shot on goal. And the Leafs will change lines 4 minutes in. 2 shots, both of them by the Leafs. Shane Pinto up the middle of the ice. Going inside. This is onside. Shot gets blocked in front. Mitch Marner picks it up. Brady Tkachuk was there, but so was Austin Matthews. Matthews on the stretch pass. Moves it up the near side. Nice. Banked it off the boards for Riley. Riley in front, and Marner couldn't bank this one inside. Nice. Fights for the puck in front. It bounces on through Ottawa. John Tavares also in pursuit. And Tim Stützle will pick it up the far half boards. And moving it back over to Jensen. Nick Jensen moves it to the far corner. Stützle, a howitzer is kicked out by Stolarz. Finally, there's the first shot on goal for the Senators. Chabot just holds it in the zone. Carlos shoves off his man. Jensen fighting to keep it in, and he does. Nobody at the far half boards. Nylander arrives there. Ottawa loses the possession. Up the near side is Pacioretty. Pacioretty fires it up high. And it goes to the glass. 13:21 to go in the first period. Not a lot of whistles until now. The Battle of Ontario still scoreless.
Wow, that's probably the fastest 7 minutes of the series. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it's been the goaltenders that have been thriving here throughout this series, keeping this a low-scoring best of 7. But also, we have to give a shout out to both defenses as they have limited most of the scoring opportunities on both teams. If we saw how games 2 and 3 worked out, it's been more defensive, where opportunities are earned. These defenses are suffocating and in-your-face style.
I saw some guys earlier saying that they should make the Morgan Riley the captain, and I just
That puzzles me for a bit, because you recently just named Austin Matthews the captain of the team. That is bold to even think about that, but at this point, you leave Matthews as the captain.
which I don't think is the right move at all, but I think it's terrible, but I don't know.
Yeah, because you never know what this team, but knowing Craig Berube, he has employed a no-nonsense culture on this Toronto squad. And whoever wins in this series gets to face off against the reigning champs.
Which shouldn't be as frightening as it sounds.
Well, I mean, they did take out the Lightning in 5 games, which is a terrifying thought at first. But given that the Lightning have not gotten any goal scoring from Nikita Kucherov in the last 15 games. That is a foreign on the both side. Scary to think about if you're Tampa.
Are you in for the doubleheader tonight?
Unfortunately, no, but I'm watching this one because we'll see if this series can be put away here. Cross-ice pass out the face-up as Carlo fires one around the boards. Marner is tied up right behind the net. Ottawa's going after this one. They pick up the puck. Off in the near corner is Sanderson. Sanderson moves one up, and here's Ridley Gray carrying one towards the net. Gray powering his way through. Stolarz a save, and the rebound is going to be picked up by Toronto. Moving up the middle of the ice, it's Matt Nyes who gets tied up and sends it to the far corner. Artem Zub with Nyes pursuing the puck relentlessly. Sanderson going after it. And Zub. William Nylander also there on the rush. Sanderson banked it off the near boards. McCabe took a chop at the puck. Blazing by is Tim Stützle. Stützle cross ice for Tkachuk. And a save by Stolarz.
Oh, man.
Nylander trying to get this one out. It is just outside the blue line as Ottawa fires his one back inside. Just 3 shots on goal in the series. Tkachuk puts the body on McCabe towards the boards. Still wacky at the stick. And Tanev protecting it away from 2 Senators. And a stick lift Giroux picks it up. Off for Nick Jensen. Jensen delivers to the point for Chabot. Giroux holds top of the left circle. Chabot loads one up and didn't get much of that. It's going to be a penalty against Toronto. There was a broken stick on the one-timer from Chabot. Unlucky for him. It seems that Giroux is the one drawing the penalty. We'll see who goes off. Hey, Francis Chiron, your mic's not on. But it's a high sticky penalty. Nonetheless, it's a John Tavares going to the box with Giroux drawing it. Yes, it was Giroux drawing the penalty. Well, they get the puck down low, cycle it around. Yeah. And win those board battles. If Tavares on the box, the Leafs need to have a huge kill here because Ottawa's gaining confidence with every game. Toronto's PK and Ottawa's power play are both middle of the pack in the postseason. Senators ranked 9th, Maple Leafs ranked 7th. Tie up off the faceoff for the far corner. This clearing attempt hit a referee. At the left point is kept inside the point by Sanderson. For the far half boards is Stützle, who drops one off for Sanderson. And a deep shot blocked by Matthews. Matheson fighting to keep this one inside. McCabe there. And the Leafs will fire this one the distance and get it out. It reaches Ullmark, who's been outstanding in the last 2 games. Can he keep this up is the question. Sanderson around for the far side. Lorentz watching. 2 Sens moving up for the left side. I'll swipe at the puck. Stützle trying to keep it. Cannot. Excellent stick checking by the Leafs. They take that one away as they kill off some more time. This reaches Ullmark. Sanderson's in trouble. It's a pickpocket as the Leafs get some penalty killing time. Scott Laughton sends it on the opposite corner for Calle Järnkrok. Järnkrok protects, and he'll backtrack with this puck, getting it back towards his own zone for Carlo. Simon Benoit sends this deep over to Järnkrok, who stops at the left point and gets this one back for Benoit. This is excellent penalty killing from the Leafs. This is what the team has needed and just what the doctors ordered. Sent for the far corner with Chabot is out there on the ice. Nyes tried to poke it away. Ottawa seeing a chunk of power play time being killed off thanks to Toronto's penalty killing unit is up against the challenge here. Banked it around for the far boards. Grabbed at the near corner by McCabe as he is all tied up. And it bounced up. Nyes poked it free. And here's a partial break. Matt Nyes. Spinorama towards this one is kicked out by Ullmark. What a spinorama right around David Perron by Matt Nyes as Perron lost the puck and Carlo clears this one all the way. This is the definition of the perfect penalty kill by the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they need this type of energy for the remainder of this game. From 5-on-5 and power play, Zetterlund fires at the final seconds of the power play as this bounced out, and moving it up is Marner for Tavares. John Tavares and Mitch Marner, both free agents at the end of this season. You wonder if Marner's going to stay. You can imagine if Tavares is also going to stay, but we think that Tavares could take a hometown discount if he were to stay. Amadio stops with Ekman Larsson on his face. Does the same thing and go to Zub. Artem Zub off the near side boards. A stick check, and they're dispossessed again. This puck will reach Ullmark. He'll play it out for Sanderson. Tavares still pursuing. Moves it up for Zub. Through the far half boards, Brady Tkachuk is there. Centers one up for Tim Stützle as he takes it himself. Stützle tries to undress his man. Fans want another penalty, but that is no call there. We stay 5-on-5. Up the far side, William Nylander has a penchant for the dramatic. Nylander cross-ice pass. In front, this bounces off, and Nylander sells it down. Tap in front. Ullmark stood his ground as the second chance goes wide. And Ottawa will take it up through the ice 2-on-2 as Tkachuk flips it down. And Stolarz plays it to the near quarters. Chabot was closing in. Chris Tanev picks it up at the far corner. A matchup on the puck as there was a stick check. Holmberg plays it to the Leaf bench. And up for the far side of the ice. A bounce up the puck. Adam Gaudette pursuing. Zetterlund 2. Domi takes it away. Free block shots to Ottawa 0 so far in this game as Benoit moves it up. Benoit forces one off Ullmark. No rebound. Domi takes it away off the giveaway. Benoit. Simon Benoit blockered off by Ullmark and this bounces out of play. Toronto's having a heavy advantage in shots on goal, 7-3, as they're pounding Linus Ullmark early. How in the world did that stay out, by the way, as we're heading to break? Man, unbelievable what is transpiring here at Canada's capital. At first, you have Toronto establishing their dominating performance. And they're here making a statement. We're not going down easily. Oh. And I have to be happy knowing that the Houston Rockets have extended their series against the Golden State Warriors. If we're going to go down, we're going out swinging. Or if we come back from down 3 games to 1 in this series.
Oh, man. Both teams have had some opportunities here.
Yep. Ottawa getting to the net front, but Anthony Stolarz pointing it out onto the near corner is what kept Toronto in a scoreless game. But Ullmark, has shown himself that he is a previous Vezina Trophy winner when he was with Boston. But he has not had a reputation for showing up in the playoffs in years past. Games 4 or 5. If you're a Senators fan, it hopefully could change that. If you're a Toronto fan, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not. Probably should have been a few penalties there, but...
Yes, some questionable calls being made by the officials, but such is the case in postseason play. Our referees, Francis Chiron and Graham Skilleter. Linesmen, Andrew Smith and Ryan Daisy. It's the second time in Ottawa Senators franchise history when they forced a game series when they trailed 3-0. The other time, you have to go back 10 years when they did the same against the Montreal Canadiens, also in the Eastern Conference quarterfinal.
I believe they lost that series.
Yes, in the game 6.
They would have, because only one team's ever come back from 3 down to win it.
Yeah, just 4 teams have ever come back from down 3-0 in a series to win. Off the space. What was it?
Oh, one team's done it in the Cup final, I think. That was us.
Yeah, that was the Leafs in 1942. Almost happened 82 years later in last year's Stanley Cup final with the Edmonton Oilers forcing the Game 7 against the Florida Panthers. Benoit flips it onto Ullmark, who stops it with a stick. Chabot picks it up, will feed it over near side boards for Giroux. And here comes a 2-on-2 for the Senators as this shot gets blocked. Oh, it almost made its way towards the net on a soft shot from Tim Stützle. This bounces over to the right point for Jensen, and keeping it is Tyler Kleven. Toe drag around on John Tavares. Madanpalo on the ice, replacing Jensen. Madanpalo moves down low and around through Gretzky's office. Madanpalo, inside shot, and Stolarz fought it off. That was on the far side, rather, as he moved coast to coast on the offensive zone. Too early, it's the goaltending. Still.
Stolarz is keeping us in this game.
And one of those shots banked off the post for the Maple Leafs. They were so close to opening the scoring. It's off the inside the post as well. That was so close for Max Pacioretty scoring his first goal of this series. He was in that series 10 years ago with the Canadiens when they fought off the Senators' comeback attempt and potential reverse sweep. Off the false start from Adam Gaudette, Nick Cousins will take the face-off. And Cousins wins it too cleanly. It'll go all the way down to the Ottawa zone. And the first one back is Matt Palo with Steven Lorentz on him. Former teammates with the Florida Panthers. His rink-wide pass on the keep. Didn't go, and here's Brandon Carlo. The ape shot bounced towards Ullmark, and he'll gobble it up. Lorentz, Cousins, Ekman Larson. Those are the former Stanley Cup teammates on the Florida Panthers, but Cousins is on the opposite side of this rivalry. He's on Ottawa. Lorentz and Ekman Larson are on Toronto. There are a lot of shots from the point that the goaltenders are seeing through so far. Of course, scoring chance at a premium, but it's been the greasy goals that have been the tail of this postseason. Whack out the faceoff. Amadio picks it up. Amadio moves it up through center. Riley gets a stick in the lane. Morgan Riley will restart. And we'll move it up the far side of the boards. The puck inside will reach Ullmark. Will play it out. No, it never touched Ullmark. It's an icing. And it never was touched behind the red line. Never was touched past the red line.
All right, I'll take it.
So, and Darren Pang, before this game, he talked to some former Maple Leafs about the implications of this game, such as Steve Thomas, who has been an old guard on the Leafs team in the early 2000s and the early editions of the Battle of Ontario. Dumped in from the far boards. Zub will get to it first, chopping away on the backhand. Marner gets the keep, takes a bounce off Greg's stick. Amadio. Greg coming back with this as Carlo and Morgan Riley will get to the puck. Riley swipes it away on the backhand. Bounced up. And it almost was an offensive zone turnover, but a stick lip prevented that from happening. Kept inside down low. It bounced onto Stolarz, who's sticking away from Greg to the near corner. Greg is still on it as Matthews is hounding him. To the far half boards, it is a keep from the Senators. And the Leafs will pick it up at the near side. Zub on the hold, but Marner was there at the far half boards, and it's Matthews moving it up. Austin Matthews will flip it down the ice, and Ullmark will catch it like he is a baseball outfielder. 6:28 to play in the first period, and we'll get line changes. Still 6 free shot advantage for the Leafs. And the importance is on attacking the net, driving to the net. The Leafs value Pacioretty for his physicality. That's why he was bumped up to the second line. Though at 36 years old, can he still deliver that same impact that he did in years past between Vegas and Montreal? Max Domi to take the faceoff for Toronto. Sens win it cleanly. Tyler Clevin moves up for the far side boards, and there was a shove there on David Perron. Stolarz plays it out for Benoit. Benoit, this puck takes a bounce off Cousins. Cousins on the keep. Domi is on him. Up at the far corner, Ekman Larson feeds it over and clears this one out. Pontus Holmberg sends this just enough to not make it icing. McMahon shoves out his man. There's a broken stick in the slot, and this will be out of play. Faceoff will be at the Senators zone to the left of Ullmark. And Drake Batherson goes out for a change as Pontus Holmberg takes a little shove right from David Perron right in front of Darren Pang where he was standing. He had to watch out there. Oh, calm, cool, and collected of Pang. Oh, he still got some goaltending abilities. He made a glove save in the middle of a playoff game. Leafs,
Yeah.
Leafs win the faceoff as Nylander can't get a shot as it was blocked. Up the near side, Giroux feeds Stutzla and then back. Here, 3-on-2. Claude Giroux moving inside. Stutzla, whip around pass, and he fanned on it, looking for Tkachuk. Max Pacioretty wanted to go across. Giroux intercepted it. He'll dump it down. Tanev finding McCabe. Jake McCabe leads the way for the near side. Up for Nylander. Flips it up high. And on this foot race, Nick Jensen will grab it ahead of Tavares at the goal line. Jensen moves it across the quarters for Thomas Chabot. Chabot will backtrack. As there are full sail changes between both teams. Go Sens, go chance here at Canadian Tire Center. Should the Leafs win this game, it'll be a conference semifinal matchup with the Florida Panthers. If the Senators win, Game 7 at Toronto. And for the far
Saturday night.
Saturday night. For the far half, Boris is fed up for Ridley Gregg near the benches. Zub will pick it up, set it up through center. There was a tie-up from Riley, which allows Carlo to pick up the puck and backhand it over to the near corner. The fan standing up here is Nyes. Gets shoved by Zub, helped out by Riley. Up through center ice, Sanderson intercepts. Zub across. Could have handled this one, but Pinto helps him out, and he'll restart. Sanderson from his own zone across for Zub. As the Leafs are all watching this one deflect inside. Stolar's playing this one out. Does a smart thing and backhands it away from danger. Right behind the net, Gaudette was trying to hold it, but Riley was there. Up the near boards, this is lofted up for center. Bouncing puck is collected now by Tyler Quevin. From his own red line, sends it around. Fabian Zetterlund gets shoved, and it's held at the right point from Nicholas Mattenpalo. Oliver Ekman-Larsson is the first one to the far half boards, beating out Adam Gaudette and Steven Lorentz. Kept inside the left point. Quevin fires one, loose in the front, and is chopped away by Benoit. Lorentz tied up by Gaudette, with Cousins and Ekman-Larsson joining on. Benoit there, in the event the puck comes free, and it does, with the Sens having it. Gaudette evades a spin, on his knees, gets back up. Gaudette goes back to the left point. Quevin fires, and it's being bounced off a body. Mattenpalo gets it down low. Zetterlund has to be shoved off. He'll allow the Leafs to pick this one up, and it's backhanded deep for center. Mattenpalo settles it down. Possession time has favored the Senators so far in these last few minutes. And the Leafs need to find a way to get the puck to the Ottawa zone if they want to counter back. Travis Green's group has been growing confidence here with every passing game. Jake McCabe handles this one and backhands it out through center. Domi gets tied up as the pass is missed. No icing here. And at the near corner, Pontus Holmberg and Bobby McMahon both combine on hits for Drake Bafferson, and the Leafs take it away. McMahon backhands one for Domi. Max Domi keeping it in the zone. Around for Holmberg at the far corner. Holmberg keeps it inside for McMahon. McMahon scoops it up, tried to backhand one, and Dylan Cousins got in the way. Another tie-up. Leafs tried to keep it in, and it's kept inside for a brief second as Chabot will get it out. No shots on that offensive zone chance for the Leafs with 2:35 to go. Toronto picks it back up, and it's McCabe. You line out there for Toronto. Sends counter with a line change. It's the near line for the Leafs as this is back up, and there was a Sens player that got hit up at the far side that says move it back up. Centering pass on the left side. Stokes was swinging a miss. On the one-timer, they had an open net. Up at the far boards, the Sens restart, and it's Sanderson. Jake Sanderson leads the way onto the near side for Stokestra, but can't get much of that. The Leafs will restart with Tavares backhanding one onto the far side for Brandon Carlo, who whips it around for Matt Nyes. The Matthews flying out there, and we have a penalty with less than 2 minutes to go, and it might be Brandon Carlo who got on Brady Tkachuk.
It's a ridiculously fast first period.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And actually is going to be a penalty on Brady Tkachuk.
Nice.
Tkachuk, he lofted Carlo up high. So we'll be seeing a Leaf power play, which is a key need of importance for the Leafs because they have struggled on the man advantage with chances to put their opponent away since 2019 in close-out games.
Power plays right at the end of periods, though. Sometimes they're a little easier to kill. I think.
Yeah, the power play needs to become up huge here for the Leafs. And how would... yeah.
There's over 2 minutes left still, right, at least?
Yes. Yeah, Stokes was swung and missed on an open net. Yeah, he had a wide open feed on a one-timer at the bottom of the right circle right in front of Stolarz. Missed on it. But the Leafs will get an opportunity to take the lead here early. Ottawa scored first in the last 3 games. Toronto needs to change that narrative. As the team that scored first won 4 of 5 games in this series. The exception was Game 3. A game in which the Senators scored first thanks to Claude Giroux on a 5-on-3. The Leafs went on to win that game on Simon Benoit getting his Corey Cross moment. There's Tkachuk, 2 minutes. for interference on Brandon Carlo. And you know, as much as people want to see a sibling rivalry between Florida and Ottawa in the Eastern Conference semifinals, the Leafs need to find ways to get on the driver's seat. And they can get this chance on the power play. They need to break that big offer streak that they've had dating back to 2019 on the power play in closeout games.
That would be a storyline. I'll give them that.
And another storyline, Owen, is that the Senators have never won a playoff series when facing elimination in franchise history. Here we go. So, on this power play, early clear by the Sens. And once again, Craig Berube is rolling with the 5-forward top unit, Marner, Nyes, Matthews, Nylander, and Tavares. With Marner functioning as the power play quarterback as that almost was intercepted on the drop. Austin Matthews saves the Leafs bacon. Takes this one across for Nyes. Toronto is 5-16 in this series, and the Sens get a takeaway. This power play needs to come up huge here. It cannot just...
This is what's led to shorthanded Ottawa goals. I don't like this 5-forward power play line.
In front to it is for Nylander, and that was almost blocked up. Tavares keeps this one inside, dropping it off for Nylander, and it's Matthews. Back for Marner. The de facto power play quarterback as the Matthews curl and drag. Score! Woo! And finally, they break the over streak. The Leafs are on the board.
Finally.
An unassuming shot from Austin Matthews, who had 70 combined goals last season, tied for the most with Zach Hyman in the NHL. He fires one that squeaks short side past Linus Ullmark with Matt Nyes setting the net front screen. How about this to get the Leafs on the board? That's one. But sometimes a 1-0 lead may not be enough. It just goes by the right skate of Ullmark. Wow. Well, so on the power play, the Leafs get their first man advantage goal since game 3 of this series. Good first time beat a charm here for Toronto. It was first time to charm for Montreal in game 6 of their Eastern Conference quarterfinal series against Ottawa. They forced a game 6 themselves. They were trailing 3-0 in their Eastern Conference quarterfinal series. It's the first goal allowed for the Senators in 102 minutes and 1 second. Back with this is Steven Lorentz as he slows up and will send it down to the near side of the ice. The fourth line is becoming more of an identity line for Berube's troops. Lorentz, Laughton, and Järnkrok. He decided not to change that line. And honestly, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Moving at the far side is Matt Paulos. He feeds it to his partner, Quevin. Off the middle is Giroux. Trying to find an open Tkachuk, but there was a stick in the lane from Simon Benoit. Second goal of the series from Matthews, with Marner getting the only assist. And this will be grabbed by Thomas Chabot's own zone. No icing as Pacioretty keeps his one inside. Whack to the stick from Tavares, who was fighting for dear life to get this puck. 5 seconds is rolled back all the way to the Leafs zone. And this first period will end with a 1-0 Toronto lead, with Austin Matthews setting the tone on the power play. Their first power play goal in a closeout game since 2018. Cannot believe it's been that long.
It's been a while.
So, well, Nylander is credited with the secondary assist on the power play goal. As Ullmark 6-7, Stolarz didn't have to do too much. He faced only 3 shots, but he had to breathe a sigh of relief on the Tim Stutz was swing and a miss.
But what he did have to do probably kept the puck out of the net.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes he was under duress.
Those 3 were going in if he hadn't, for sure.
All right, also underway are the Vegas Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild. Game 6 of that series at XL Energy Center.
They started already?
Yeah. A developing storyline from Game 5 was that Philip Gustafsson left Game 5 in illness, which prompted Marc-Andre Fleury to head to the net, making his 18th and final postseason appearance, which is an NHL record.
Marc-Andre Fleury. He's still playing. That's incredible.
Yeah. And while the Wild lost everyone was happy for him that he is making an impact in this series. He kept the Wild in Game 5 up until the very end, in which they fought until the very end. Made some key saves here and there, and kept it 2-2 when Matt Bodie tied it, but Minnesota lost after Vegas challenged for an offside on Ryan Hartman's go-ahead goal with a minute 13 left. Ouch. And it looks like Vegas is going to get a 4-minute power play in their game with Marco Rossi taking a high-sticking double minor. There appeared to be blood on Braden McNabb. It was Brett Howden scoring his second playoff overtime winner of his career. We'll also have to look at the other score lines around the NHL. Yesterday, the trend of home teams winning in the Jets Blues series continues. And that continues with a Game 5 win.
Huh. Wow. It was tied 2-2, and the Jets just ran away with it in the second and third.
Of course, the main star of the show being Kyle Connor, as he had a goal and 2 primary assists in the victory. He's what drove the Jets to the win. And good for Vladislav Namestnikov to get on the board for Winnipeg. 3-on-2 rush. Connor finds him for a tap-in goal, in which Binnington had most of the net uncovered as he tried to get back onto his right side, defend off Namestnikov. No can do. And Dylan DeMello with the go-ahead goal. That puts this game to that the Jets got the lead for good. First career playoff goal for DeMello as well in his 33rd playoff game. Not known for offense, but he is a reliable stay-at-home defenseman. How he got his goal? Shot from the blue line, takes a bounce off Colton Parayko and in the net. When have you seen this? Of course, as we mentioned about the Panthers and the Lightning, and while I predicted the Lightning to win this series, I'm going to be one of the first to admit that I would say I got the prediction wrong. Tampa has an elite team. But you know who was sorely missed for them? Oliver Bjorkstrand. He didn't even play.
I had Tampa winning that series quite easily.
Florida was slumping down the stretch. We were wondering if the Panthers are going to fix their finishing issues. Well, they did.
I did not buy in. One team's hype I did not buy into that is proving to more or less be accurate, though, was the LA Kings hype.
Oh. Why do the Kings always do this to their fans? Why must they give their fans hope due to the possibility of being the Oilers in a series, only to rip it away at the last moment? Do you know what Game 4 reminded me of? Game 4 of the 2023 edition of this first round series.
I saw some Kings in 6 predictions that just made no sense to me. I think the Oilers finish it tonight.
Hey, I had the Kings in 7. Oh my God. I was convinced that this year was going to be different for them. And unless the Kings don't win on the road, ouch.
Well, the Oilers almost missed the playoffs, so there's that.
Oh. And the Oilers themselves, they got older through the offseason. The Kings, they were stingier.
I've got to go eat.
All right. So we do get a goal from the Golden Knights Wild game. Shea Theodore, power play goal. Victor Olofsson and Jack Eichel have the assists. So, as we look on front, Eetu Luostarinen, a goal and 3 assists in that clincher for the Panthers. And there was that feeling of dread inside of me that thinks, oh boy, the Panthers are about to start a dynasty, aren't they? Well, hopefully not, because parity's what's important in the NHL. And now, the other game, the Capitals and Canadiens, that ended rather quick. That series ended rather quick. Caps go up 3-0, wrap it up 4-1. And they advance to the conference semifinals. They will face the Carolina Hurricanes. In round 2, the last time they met, the home team won the first 6 games of that series before winning Game 7 on the road. Brooks Orpik got an overtime winner in Game 2 for the Capitals to go up 2-0 in that series. Carolina won all 3 of their games at home ice. And they won Game 7 on the road at Capital One Arena in front of a hostile environment. So far, we're trying to go over the team stats. The PK has come up huge here for the Leafs as they killed off a Senators power play with excellent penalty killing. And over for the last few games, the onus is on the Leafs PK to step up. And they have so far, as they are locking down the Senators in Game 6 here at Ottawa Ice. For the team stats, as they go through them one by one. The shots are 7-3 Leafs. Hits 27-19 Leafs in this uber physical series. Face-offs, the one stat that the Maple Leafs are thriving at the most right now. 9-3 outside of hits. Block shots are 7-6 Leafs. Takeaways 1-0 Sens, and giveaways are 6-4 Leafs. And despite all of that, it's been the hits and the faceoffs that have been crucial so far for Toronto. As we're going to go through everything else, I will provide you with some disturbing news, unfortunately. That yesterday, a Pirates fan has fallen from the 21-foot Roberto Clemente wall at PNC Park. The fall was accidental in nature. The man fell from the Clemente wall during yesterday's game between the Pirates and the Chicago Cubs. And the Pittsburgh Public Safety, which includes the Pittsburgh Police and EMS, posted on Twitter that the man was in critical condition. The incident is being treated as accidental in nature. And this took place right after Andrew McCutchen hit a 2-run double in the 7th inning to put the Pirates ahead 4-3. Players began waving frantically for medical personnel and pointing to the men who fell onto the warning track. The fan was tended to for approximately 5 minutes of the Pirates and Cubs training staffs as well as PNC Park personnel before being removed from the field on a cart. The team issued a statement shortly after the game saying the man was transported to the Allegheny General Hospital. No further details have been given. Pirates manager Derek Shelton and Cubs manager Craig Counsell alerted the umpire crew of the situation immediately after the play, and players from both teams were praying for the condition of this man. McCutchen held a cross that hung from his neck while the fan was moved from the field. He said on Twitter, and I quote, "Truly hate what happened tonight. Can't help but think about that guy, his family and friends. I pray tonight for him. Let's think about his loved ones and hug their families a little tighter tonight. I hope he pulls through. And God bless you all. Good night." The game was paused for several minutes while the man was tended to. There was no official stoppage in play. As Cubs shortstop Dansby Swanson said, quote, "I didn't see anything happen, but I saw Counsell's face when he came out on the field. I could tell that was a very scary moment. All I could do was just pray for a good, strong recovery for him and his family. I have never been part of something like that before, and I hope I'm never part of something like that again. It's a humble reminder of the gratitude we should all have to play this game. Folks obviously could come out to support us, and they are a big reason why we are able to do what we do. It's obviously tough, and they are a big reason why we are able to do what we do. So yeah, it's obviously tough. At a time like that, you want the fans to know you love them. But there are previously fans that have died from steep falls at baseball stadiums. Atlanta Braves season ticket holder Gregory K. Murray flipped over guardrails from the upper deck at Turner Field in 2015. 4 years after Shannon Stone, a firefighter attending a game with a 6-year-old son, fell about 20 feet after reaching out for a foul ball tossed into the stands at the Texas Rangers' former stadium, Rangers Ballpark at Arlington. Both incidents prompted scrutiny over the height of guardrails at stadiums. The Rangers raised theirs. The Braves settled a lawsuit with Murray's family. Also, a spectator at the 2022 NFL game at Heinz Field died after a fall on escalator. Basically, so praying for the fan, hoping that they pull through. Hoping that this never happens again. Ouch. There may be some updates of the condition here. That the fan is being treated at Allegheny Hospital and is in critical condition. So one of the fans was sitting 5 rows behind. That he was drunk, and the inning before he ripped his shirt off and poured half a beer all over himself. Jumped up from his seat when the Pirates got the hit. So quick, while being drunk, he propelled himself off the ledge. Not on purpose, nobody pushed him. He was there with his girlfriend, a friend, another lady. Friend ran to the lower deck in center field and jumped on the field. This post was made on goldenbrown_PGH on Reddit. Scary scenario here at PNC Park. Hoping that this is not a situation that happens again. So as we move around onto the NBA slate, the current games and yesterday's games, as we pull around onto the lone game that we didn't cover on yesterday's slate. Right now, the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons are battling it out. Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals. Yesterday, the Minnesota Timberwolves put away the Los Angeles Lakers. Say what you will about the Lakers or the Timberwolves. Minnesota has a complete roster. And Rudy Gobert has dominated this game, dominating the small ball Lakers. They tune of a 103-96 victory to seal the series in 5 games for Minnesota. A 20-point, 20-rebound, double-double for Gobert, the Stifle Tower as he is nicknamed in the NBA. So he racked up 27 points, 24 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Anthony Edwards with 15 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals. An efficient night for Ant, 5-19, but he took the back seat for Gobert and Julius Randle, 23 points, 8 of 16 shooting. The Lakers, on the other hand, that roster is incomplete, to say the least. Only 2 players off the bench have played north of 18 minutes. No Dalton Connect as he was taken out of the rotation. Just 4 bench points. But for the Timberwolves, 10 points from Nickeil Alexander-Walker. LeBron James with 22, 7 and 6 with 2 steals. Rui Hachimura 23 points. And Luka Doncic 28 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. When we come back, it'll be the second period of Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals. I am Alec Nava. Stay tuned, everyone. breaking news from the New York Rangers. They're in advanced talks to name Mike Sullivan as their head coach. And is expected to be one of the richest coaching contracts in NHL history. Still, for an elite head coach, he can get the job done as he showed with the United States national team in the Four Nations face-off. Taking the reins of a team that's wanting to win in cups with Artemi Panarin and Igor Shesterkin and Adam Fox. Brady Tkachuk takes an interference penalty. Austin Matthews makes him pay with a shot from the top of the left circle that beats Lee's Olmark. Second period underway. Up at the far quarter, the Sens want to take it out and they can't. They're trapped in their own zone. Excuse me. At the near half boards, this is kicked out by the Sens, and Carlo recollects it, backhands it down deep. Ottawa restarting for their own zone. Nyes want to swipe it away, and moving up the near side, Sanderson bounced off Gregg, and it'll be collected by Riley at his own zone. Morgan Riley. It's a game high 5 hits for Brady Tkachuk. Throughout this course of this game, it's Max Pacioretty. Can't slow this one down. Here's Nylander as he moves in. Nylander scores! Willie Nylander puts the Leafs up 2-0 a minute into the second period. They take advantage of a takeaway as William Nylander does it himself, going down the right circle. Max Pacioretty gets the chop on Nick Jensen, and it lands onto Nylander's stick and fires it far side on Olmark. Makes no mistake. It's Pacioretty's first point this series as he chops this one away, goes under the blocker of Olmark, able to sneak that one by him. It's 2-0 Leafs. And they have an 8-free shot edge. First shot this second period. 2 goals in a minute. Two goals in over a minute. The order backhands it down deep into the zone. Comes loose in front. Olmark the save. As it goes to the near corner, the Leafs putting the pressure on the Sens. Kept in the zone at the center point and then backed around with Nylander getting cut up by Chabot. Drake Batherson is there. Moved up for Chabot, up for the far side. Streaking down on the 3-on-2, it's Ottawa. Cross-ice pass, Perron holds it, and Stolarz shuts it down. Excellent execution by the Senators as they go coast to coast on this 3-on-2 rush with Chabot leaned away. And Perron sets up for the slot with John Tavares getting back on defense with Chris Tanev. And Perron looks up, tries to elevate that one. It catches the glove hand of Stolarz, who makes the save. Fourth shot on goal for the Senators. It's 2-0 Toronto. Faceoff is won by the Leafs. Up at the far side board, Simon Benoit across for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And his stretch pass bounced off of Steven Lorentz's stick. And the Senators tied up in their own zone. Skating away with this is Ottawa. The far half boards is deflected up. Nicholas Maddempalo moves it back onto the Toronto zone. Give it away as it's a quick shot. Went up high. And Laughton lost his stick on the commotion. He'll get it back to him. Stützle wanted to go at the top corner. Takes a bounce off Laughton. Right up front, Ottawa facing elimination again. Toronto trying to make it third time the charm. Stützle has to play smart. Has to put pressure. And for sure you have to have that confidence. Toronto is putting the pressure on Ottawa. Face off to the right of Stolarz. It'll be taken by Shane Pinto. Tie up, and the Leafs win it. Up at the near side, bounced off Marner. Free agent here this season. William Nylander for Max Pacioretty on the second goal. We're the far side, the Sens take it back up for the ice. We're the far quarter, Riley chopped away the puck. Matthews got it to Carlo, bounced off Nyes, who settled this one down. 56.1% face-off win rate, leading the NHL by a wide margin in this postseason. Picked up by the Sens. Up the near side, chopped back by Amadio. Amadio centers one up for Sanderson, who leads the way. Sanderson sends it to Gregg. Gregg sends one back. One-timer is kicked out off a body in front. Nyes tried to center one up. It's cleared out. Ottawa restart their own zone. Pivoting back. Nicholas Maddempalo with Tyler Quevin on the ice. These two young defensemen on the ice together. Chris Tanev is the first one back to the puck on the dump in. For the far half boards, McMahon backhands one out, and Gaudette is pursuing the puck. both send it up for the ice for Zetterlund. Loses it and is backhanded in deep by Holmberg. McMahon relentlessly chasing after it. Madapalo and Quevin both there to knock him down. McMahon helping Toronto. For the left point, back to Toronto was blocked. At the far half boards, this takes a swipe at the puck. And nothing doing there. Quevin. Up the far side boards for Gray. Who sends it inside. Ekman Larsson's the first one back. Forehands it away from Cousins. Nick Cousins in there on the ice. And William Nylander sets up front for Tavares. Or McMahon rather. Nylander pivots back on a spin around the top of the right circle. Nylander draws the double team. Gives it away to David Perron. Perron slows up. And off the near quarter. Drake Bafferson in pursuit. And shielding himself is Brandon Carlo. Double team as John Tavares is there. Poked away at it by Bafferson. Bafferson sends it over to the point. Quevin loads one up. Bounces up in front. Pacioretty wanted to clear this one down, and he does. Leads control it off the near side boards. Picking it back up is Nick Jensen. Through the far side, Cousins. Dylan Cousins' pass ricocheted off a skate. Jensen leads the way on the offensive zone rush. 2-on-5. Jensen gets shoved out by Carlo. Perron helping him out. Through the far side, Stokeswa. Stokeswa to Chabot at the left point. Chabot waits. And a one-timer, but Stokeswa kicked out. And a rebound. Shut down by Stolarz. Just held inside by Stokeswa, who can't find nobody. Nylander up the middle. Intercepted by Stokeswa as he goes back inside with the puck. Stokeswa holds it. Left circle. Curl and drag. Stokeswa elevates one. Stolarz down. And he'll hold on. Good chances by Ottawa after this shot and goal from Nylander. As David Perron and Tim Stützle both combine to get offense's own chances here. Stützle on a blazing one-timer from the center point. Bounced off the body in front of Stolarz, keeping it out. And a sharp angle shot just sailed behind Stolarz, but right in front of the two goalposts. And Stützle have a curl and drag move around Brandon Carlo, trying to elevate that one over Stolarz, who was unfazed. This face-off control at the right circle by Toronto. They win their 14th face-off of the 17 that have been taken. They enter inside of the far zone and back it around onto the near half boards. Mitch Marner puts on a shove. Austin Matthews also there. Sanderson emerges. For the far point. Zub exits out. Up at the far half boards is chopped inside. Stolarz plays it out. Gregg tried to take it away from Tanev. Matthews helping him out. On the far side. Amadio keeps his one in. On the near half boards, Tanev, he and Gregg both fall down. Tanev tried to play it down on all fours. But it's a tie-up at the far corner. Emerging is Scott Watson. Watson leads it up. Glove down here at the right circle. What a tie-up there. And a quick shot. A rebound. Swept away twice by Stolarz. Nice leads away far side. Shoved up by, well, I believe it's Sanderson's picked back up. Madapalo, tie turnover, right behind the net. Marner keeps his one alive, and off to the left point, Simon Benoit. Feeds it around for the boards. Sanderson cut off the pass for Domi. Jake Sanderson cycles his one back for Nicholas Madapalo, who was chased from behind by Bobby McMahon. Madapalo up the far side of the ice. On his dump in, collected up by Gaudette. Caught up by Ekman Larsson, who backhanded away for McMahon. Bobby McMahon leads the way, a dangle round by Holmberg. Holmberg sends it down for the ice. First one back is Zetterlund. Fabian Zetterlund up the near corner as it's sent down for the ice as Ottawa makes changes. Brandon Carlo for the near side, sent up front. It's an icing. Also Matthews on the bench. The Pinto line's doing a good job keeping away chances on the Matthews line. And right to the zone. A foot pass was gloved down by Michael Amadio, but quickly swiped on the stick away. And a good read by Matthews to deny Amadio of a scoring chance. Pinto gets one for the Sens. It's bird line and thriving. Domi to take the face off. So we'll do this over again. It did not go. Face off is to the right. And it's won by Ottawa. Thomas Chabot. Stick checked away as the Maple Leafs want to get this one down. Foot race. And will this be icing? McMahon beats him out slightly. His man Tyler Quevin. Great skating from McMahon, utilizing his speed. But the Sens get it back. This one deflected up. Last touch by a Leaf. Freed for 6:25 gone in this second period. Matthews stretches the way for Järnkrok. Calle Järnkrok. Allmark in trouble. Could not be gloved down by Järnkrok, but is kept inside off a body. That was Laughton. Tie up at the near half boards and sends taken away. And up the near side is Parkin, who waits up at the left point with Nylander almost intercepted, and right inside is takes a bounce. And the Leafs take it back up and clear it out. Jake Sanderson controlling here across for Zub. Zub leads the way, bounces off a body in front, and it's McCabe getting this back out for center. The defense taking his time to shine. Matheson still in the zone as Scott Laughton will drop this one back, and they'll all to restart. Carlo, shoved out by Riley Gregg. This is going to be an icing. William Nylander sent it in. It's 12:48 to go in the second period. Jake Sanderson, Game 4 overtime hero. We've had 3 overtime games in the series. The first 2 won by Max Domi and Simon Benoit. 1-6 record in 1-goal games in potential series clinching games in the last 14 closeout games. That one came in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Quarterfinals 2 years ago against the Tampa Bay Lightning, when John Tavares scored the overtime series winner to break the 19-year drought. 12:48 to go, second period. The Tavares line on the bench, McCabe's pairing is still out. And Stolarz getting set to see this face off to his right, and Francis Chiron is getting things settled down. So we have an awkward sequence as the officials trying to get sorted out. This face-off is to the left of Stolarz. They're all checking everything to make sure it's correct. Off the face-off is won by the Leafs again. Jake McCabe controlling onto the near corner for Nylander. Sens trying to take it away. Several shoves at that corner. And going down was Tkachuk. Controlled the left point by Chabot. Chabot moves up. Wrister! Score! Brady Tkachuk on the deflection! Ottawa's within 1! Canada's capital is on their feet right now. After the clear didn't go, the Senators take advantage of the icing. They lose the draw, but they keep it at the left point with Thomas Chabot finding the seam, and Tkachuk deflects it to the top corner. And it's within 1 for Ottawa. Does a good job of keeping this one in. It's a beautiful goal from Tkachuk as he sends it up high. And they're blowing whistles here all around. The Brady chants loud here at Canadian Tire Center. 3 points in Game 5. He's had an impact from start to finish of this series. We'll go back here in a moment. Brady Tkachuk pokes the Senators within 1 after William Nylander opened the scoring here in the second period. He took that penalty late in the first period. He puts the Sens within 1. And the Leafs in a pressure situation. In the midsection, gets hit by Jake McCabe. Then goes after the puck as McCabe loses stick. Gets back up as Chabot keeps it. Goes over to the slot to redirect it inside. You have only won 4 faceoffs in this game. Yet they're within 1 goal. And this puck cannot be touched by Brandon Carlo. The Sens pick it up. And they move it down to the near side of the ice. Chopped up by Matthews. And gloved down by Nyes. Sending it to the far corner. Drake Batterson's the first one back. Right behind the net. Artem Zub. Backhands it away. And it's held in by the Leafs for the moment. And around is Matt Nyes, who gets tied up. Trying to send this back over to the right point for Marner. And a fan on one-timer from Carlo. Matthews gets closed out. And it's fed over to the right point for Carlo. One-timer, Marner! And that missed the net. Matthews gets driven towards the wall. And it'll be pinned down by Toronto. Up by Matthews on Pinto. Marner able to hold it. Marner waits at the far corner. Tries to center one up. Pinto blocked it off on the skate. Nice. Can't find Carlo at the point. And here is a 2-on-2 back. The Senators get pinned here on the entry. They still keep the puck, but several whacks on the stick. And this will be cleared out. Reinforcements arrive here for Ottawa as they were changing. Up the near side, Pontus Holmberg backhands one deep. Nick Jensen and Thomas Chabot both there, but it's held inside the far half boards by McMahon. For a split second before, Bento going back with this, several stick lifts, and the Leafs will back skate this one out. To Benoit, and a giveaway here. And this will be a pass taken away. Stutzwa, sticked away by Simon Benoit. Benoit places one out to the far half boards. Nick Jensen settles this one down. All of a sudden, the Sens are finding their confidence again. Nick Cousins gets this one deep. Stolarz had to be hurried up. Zetterlund keeps his one at the far corner. Stolarz back in his crease. Whip around shot. Blocked in front. It was traffic. And it bounces on for his neutral zone. The Senators go back again with Tyler Quevin. Max Domi thought he got slashed. 10 blocks to the Senators 7. This will be an icing. At the Leafs' expense one more time. And Domi needs a new stick. Thought he got slashed. Nervous here in Toronto as they had a 3-0 series lead. And 3 of the 5 previous games ended in overtime. We don't know if there's going to be another overtime game here. Brady Tkachuk and a 5-game playoff point streak, the longest since 2010. Second longest, tied right behind Daniel Alfredsson. Up there with other franchise legends like Jason Spezza. Run the right point, this is one back. Up and around the boards, this goes by Perron. Rush to the puck at the near half boards, Chabot. Holmberg also there. And here's a deep shot from Bafferson that fired wide. Kept inside. That went to Stolarz. Sweeping away there. And the Leafs pick it up. At the point. Skating out is Bobby McMahon. Down deep is Nick Jensen. Both collected up. No icing. Ottawa reset with this. Up the far side. Go Sens, go chance here. Whip around, pass around onto the near corner where it's collected. Well believed by Dylan Cousins. Staying with this is Tanev. Tanev holds on to it. Cousins still in pursuit. Finds Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Whips it up onto center, where it's batted down by the Sens, and played by Tanev. Tanev, pass blocked, comes back to OEL. Away from Tim Stutzla. OEL gets this one out for center, leads in control after they were hounded. Nylander walks this one across the line. Pacioretty onto the far half corner. Madden Paolo also there, but is kept inside by the Leafs. Around the boards. Brandon Carlo whips it around again to keep this one inside. Bad Nyes arrives there for support. Nyes centers one up and bounced off a stick and settled down the near corner. Swiped around by Austin Matthews. Matthews goes down. Tim Stutzla also there. Not a lot of penalties to speak of. Both teams have been to the power play at least once. On the side of that, Marner sets up one-timer. Riley kicked out by Olmark. Held inside by Marner as he looks back. Marner forced onto the far out boards. Sends one towards the crease. And out blocked. And the Senators get this one down the ice. Brady Tkachuk pursuing. Carlo sticks it away from him. Through the far corner. Bags this one up. Onto the far side. Here's Mitch Marner. Marner has Nyes. Spins it around. Olmark is there and covers. Trying to go for the fancy highlight. Linus Olmark said no. 8:32 to play. We'll be right back. Toronto. These two teams with new head coaches that they hired through the offseason, Craig Berube and Travis Green. It's the second time in franchise history playing Game 6 after losing a 3-0 series lead. You have to go back to the 1940s for the last time it's happened in their franchise's history. John Tavares to take the face-off for Toronto. And it's an offensive zone face-off to the right of Linus Ullmark. It's lights out there with Nylander and Pacioretty. Benoit and OEL for the Leafs. Tkachuk, Stützle, or rather Greg, Pinto, and Amadio out there. Tavares is tossed out the dot. Nylander take it. And several swipes at the stick. It's over to the far corner. Ottawa gets it. Up the near side. Grabbed up as Greg. Wanted to go for Amadio. Ekman Larsson was right there waiting for it. Benoit moves it up for the far half boards. Pacioretty was shoved. 14-2 to hits in favor of the Senators in this period. Walking the point, Nick Jensen flips it on his backhand for Amadio. Amadio tied up behind the net by OEL. OEL still shadowing him as he is shoved once, twice, and 3 times. Going down to his knees as the puck is a battle for at the far corner. Tavares still swiping at this one. Fans wanting to see this puck get moved, and it will. Still it's tied up, and lands onto the Leafs. Onto the far half boards, a stick there to keep this one inside. Ridley Gregg set up pass, high swat, save the rebound's there! Zollars is down, the puck goes free, it's picked up by Nylander! Oh, Anthony Stolarz, are you kidding? And a whistle. He has kept those pucks down. And he's battled like crazy, making spectacular saves, one after another as he was hounded all throughout. Stolarz went down going full snow angel, and scooping him up is Nylander. Away from all the chaos. Going after this puck. Stolarz has glove hand and blocker hand all the way down on the initial shot. Might have been blocked in front by Benoit. At the defensive zone, Toronto wanted to get this one out. They will. Järnkrok's tied up. The Sens dump this one down. Stolarz will leave it behind her to the far corner. Taken away by Ridley Gregg, but quickly taken back by the Leafs. Moved it out through center. And the Senators will start up at their own zone. Tyler Quevin faking out a man. Moving up for the middle, it is Fabian Zetterlund. Zetterlund rink wide to the right side for a clapper. Windmill save. Anthony Stolarz. Nicholas Marinpalo. The injury substitution in the Four Nations face-off for Finland. With an absolute clapper, Stolarz was ready for it, keeping his calm. Now wanting to float one by him. Ottawa's never beaten Toronto in a postseason series. They have lost the previous 4 times. Toronto has won once in a closeout game in the Matthews era, but also Ottawa has never won a series when facing elimination. Matthews wins it from Tkachuk. Stutzla was tossed out the faceoff dot on this chase for the puck. It's collected by Zub. Zub half spins around on the near side. Leads it up the middle, where it's Stutzla. Over the corner, fires it around for the end boards. Stolarz plays it out to the far corner. Matthews and Carlo get tied up. It'll be kept inside by Stutzla, but he too is tied up and dispossessed at the puck. Tkachuk keeps it in. The shot gets blocked, and here's Nyes, who will fire it down the far side of the ice. Allmark plays it out, and over the near corner, Sanderson also tied up. Matthews digs it deep, gets it away for Stutzla, but quickly taken back up by the Leafs. And Nyes fanned on the puck several times. Toronto has to retreat all the way back. Benoit for Holmberg, who is fresh on the bench. Simon Benoit keeps the wheels rolling down the near side. Benoit around Sanderson. Almost lost the puck, gives it away to Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk mishandled it once. He'll fire around for the far side. Benoit there to swipe it away. Oliver Ekman-Larsson out there to play the puck and moves up the near side of the ice. Bobby McMahon on a foot race. Tyler Krevin, big hit. Hammered him all the way down, but cuffs it up. Or I thought it was. The Senators go back up and flipping it across the ice. Well, Matt Powell loose in the front. Stolarz kept it away. And guides it for Holmberg. Knocked down at the far half boards. Kept inside. The one-timer close stop for Perron. Almost placed it out, but kept it in. Perron. That pass is blocked. And it'll go down the ice. Where it's collected by Allmark, who will play for Nicholas Madenpalo. Ottawa's been the better team in the second period throughout this series. If you're Toronto, you want to turn things around the third period. That's the period when you ride the best. Amadio has his pocket picked by Tavares. Nylander's back inside. Can't do much with that on Shabbat. Pacioretty joins in right behind it as the puck comes free. Pacioretty and Nylander both there. Tavares still in pursuit as he knocks down Madenpalo. On the hold is Pacioretty. Gretzky stops for Tavares. And Carlo found a one-timer and a shot loose in front. Pacioretty there. And Allmark covers it up. A dangerous sequence right of goal mouth with the Maple Leafs whacking like crazy. It remains a 2-1 game with Toronto on top with 4:51 to go in the second. A delayed breakout by the Senators is what made this error. As Michael Amadio receives the feed, John Tavares waited as the Sens were taking way too long with it. William Nylander tried to finish this one up, and a second chance banked off the outside the post. Ottawa moves it up for the near side, with Ridley Gray chopping this one down. Pinto in pursuit, trying to pick it up at the near corner. Can't do so as he was bumped by a Leaf. And Gray, one-timer, Sanderson bounced off someone in front. Amadio picks it up and moves it around through the boards. Amadio, shut off! Big hit right behind Stolarz' crease. Morgan Riley waits a bit and sends it up front ahead of Ridley Gray. It takes a bounce. Zub scoops it And it's Sanderson. Jake Sanderson. The pass is a little too far. It'll be collected by Chris Tanev, who was tied up. Tanev with Laughton joining in on the chaos. Puck comes free and it goes to McCabe. Right behind is Tanev, and once again it's Laughton, who backhands one at the near side boards. And then collecting this one for the Sens, it's Matt Paulo. Up at the far half boards, right near where Darren Pang is, inside the glass, is Matt Nice. And now near the Sens bench, as Steven Lorentz trying to pry it free. It comes free up to the opposite side of the boards, and it's slapped inside by Clevin. He has a big blast, and one the Sens really like. Laughton, all tied up, knocked out midair by Nick Cousins, and under duress is Scott Laughton. Back to the round, and moving back behind is Tanev one more time. On the near side, Järnkrok. There was to stick it away, and on the backhand it's fired down deep. Dylan Cousins gets tied up by Laughton as the fourth line is still out there. And a dare shift. And Steven Lorentz sends this one back to the point for Carlo, and back around. William Nylander's back out there. And so is John Tavares, who fights off Tyler Clevin. Tavares sends it over, but Clevin was right there as he delivers a huge one. A huge one on William Nylander. Heavy hitting has been a theme for the Senators in the second period. Sent inside where Riley beats out Dylan Cousins. Collected up at the near half boards by Nylander and back for Riley. Near the Ottawa bench as John Tavares takes it inside the zone. Tavares spins out at the far half boards. Tavares looks as he sends this back for Nylander. Back to the point, loading one up is Benoit. Kicked out by Olmark. And it's Dylan Cousins leading the way, intercepted by OEL. Trying to drive it back inside, nobody home. And falling out is one of the Senators. Mitch Marner blows up. Here's Matt Nice. Fires. Olmark with the stop. Got it with the blocker as it exits out of play with 2:25. Excellent reaction save from Olmark on the blocker. He moves it up. Austin Matthews spending behind for Marner. Nice. Body had an open look. Short side. There was nothing there. When bounced out. If the Leafs can win another face, that'll be huge for them because you're not saying of a 1-goal lead. I want to expand on the 2-1 lead. It's been a very tight series. Back and forth it has come. And close score lines between the two teams. Nice, Matthews, and Marner on his draw. It's another face-off win by the Leafs. What else is new? As Marner bounced off Olmark and swiped away. And Riley can't hold his own. Morgan Riley slides it across on his backhand to Carlo and then gets a return feed. Riley sets it up the middle. Nice gets bumped and allows Pinto to fire it down the far side of the ice. And on the near corner, Carlo on the near corner of the boards. Across it goes for Nice, who is tied up again. Gregg on the keep. Ridley Gray controlling. Windmills around. Morgan Riley gets knocked away by Matthews and is picked up by Nice. Mitch Marner across, and here comes Brandon Carlo inside. Carlo, windmill save by Olmark. What a hustle by Brandon Carlo to get the drive inside. They get a shot. Excellent passing by the Leafs in the sequence to start a rare rush. Good chance to get Carlo on the attack. A defensive by defenseman. Want to aim it top corner. So, as this game is underway, we're also going to take some live looks at the intermission at Knights Wild Game 6. William Nylander is going to take this offensive zone faceoff to the left of Olmark. False start against Ottawa. Both teams at 7 shots apiece in this period. A rare faceoff win by the Senators as they clear it down. They can't get this one down. It goes down in the center of the ice. McCabe starts up from his own zone. Bounced up the Senator bench. Brady Tkachuk trying to get after it. It is Nylander. Going back inside is Tavares. Chris Tanev floats one inside. Deflected! And another shot! Tavares can get a stick on it. Olmark made the save. Swing and a miss on the keep in by Tanev. But it's kept inside by John Tavares. Settled down by Thomas Chabot. Chabot off the middle. It is Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk. Kerwin drag. Save. Stolarz. Rebound! Nobody is at the cross ice pass. And the Leafs can't get this one out. As Stokes was on the keep, several bumps and bruises as OEL moves it up on the backhand. Goes center ice, picked up by the penalty box doors. The Sens play this one out. Or the Leafs rather, as it's Stolarz. Up at the near half boards, Lorentz, the identity alliance out there. 2-on-2 as Järnkrok takes around the near half boards. Järnkrok wheels it around. For Madame Paolo, who gets bumped. Scott Laughton in pursuit. Held inside by Järnkrok. Calle Järnkrok coaches in. Wide of the crease. It beat Omar though, as it's cleared out. And this will be an icing. With 30.3 seconds left. Calle Järnkrok with a grade A chance. The Senators took advantage of an icing and made it into a goal. But Järnkrok came close to make this a 3-1 lead for the Leafs. Several good chances by the second line of Tavares, Nylander, and Pacioretty as Nylander tried to bank it off the left pad of Omar. Max Pacioretty was swooping in front of the swap and tried to get this one inside. Shot 16-11, Toronto. Matthews wins another faceoff from the far half boards, gloved down by Omar, and this exits out the zone, so Carlo has to restart. Brandon Carlo gets it in deep. Omar plays it out, and will lead for Clevin. Right behind is Marner. Tyler Clevin sends it up the far half boards, and it will be another icing. 11.9 to go. The faceoff onto the far side of Omar, which is his right. And so far, Toronto has been the better team in the first period. You can say Ottawa has been the better team in the second period. How they're matching Toronto in physicality. And its crowd is ferocious. Icings have been a bit of a recent problem for the Sens. As Andrew Smith gives the signal to Ryan Daisy. Another faceoff win by Matthews. Simon Benoit darts up. This made its way to Olmark. And finally, the Sens can make changes to their lines. Travis Green wants to get the Pinto line out there to match up with the Matthews line. But a smart faceoff win. That's Morgan Riley, actually, with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. A long shift by this entire group on the Senators. That icing is important because it is impacting them. They're getting the Pinto line out there again. This time it's a tie-up as Marner picks up the puck. That's the setup at the left circle. In front! That pass skipped! And that ends the period. One last shot from Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but that was well after the period ended. And the Leafs will carry on to the second intermission with a 2-1 lead. Ottawa trying to keep their season alive yet again. Toronto trying to put the final nail in the coffin. After 2, Toronto 2, Ottawa 1. I'm Alec Nava. So the scoring updates from Vegas, Minnesota. What's the latest from Knicks Pistons? And the recent news around the sports world when we come back in just a moment. It's tight in Ottawa. The Leafs lead 2-1. Austin Matthews on the power play with 1:10 left in the first period. Mitch Marner, William Nylander the assist. William Nylander off the poke from Max Pacioretty. 43 seconds into the second. Brady Tkachuk from Thomas Chabot and Claude Giroux. 7:28 into the second period. The two Leafs goals separate by less than 2 minutes. It's a minute and 53 seconds separating the two of them in game time. I'm Alec Nava. Welcome to the second intermission report. Anthony Stolarz, 10 of 11. Latest Allmark, 14 of 16. As we go through the statistics, shots are 16-11 Leafs, hits 44-36 Sens, and the faceoffs 21-10 Toronto. As the Senators are chopping back at the faceoff dot, having their say in it. We have no penalties since the first period, and each team was penalized once. Block shots 12-11 Toronto. Takeaways are 3 each, and giveaways are 14-7. So we have a score update here in a Vegas-Minnesota game. Ryan Hartman from Marcus Foligno with 4 seconds left in the first period. So these two teams are playing on right now. Adin Hill, 17 of 18. Philip Gustafson, 7 of 8. Shows the desperation of the Wild right now. And at halftime, the Detroit Pistons lead the New York Knicks 61-59. The Pistons, they trailed by at least double digits. At least 10 points. Malik Beasley has 18 points off the bench. Is 6 of 11 from free. He has fired every single one of his shots from 3-point range. Kay Cunningham with 11 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. 5 of those points came on free throws. Tobias Harris with 10 points, 3 rebounds. And for the Knicks, they got 20 points from Jalen Brunson, 8 of 13 from the field, 4 assists. 13 from OG Anunoby, and 12 from Mikal Bridges. 6 of 11 is Bridges, 4 of 10 is Anunoby. So later on the slate, on the NHL side, are 2 other game 6s. Chance to send to 7, or a chance to end the series. The Vegas Golden Knights want to end their series with the Minnesota Wild, as are the Toronto Maple Leafs on the Ottawa Senators, the Dallas Stars on the Colorado Avalanche, and the Edmonton Oilers on the Los Angeles Kings. So the Stars-Avs game will start at 9:30 Eastern, Kings-Oilers at 10 Eastern. That's the same start time as Nuggets-Clippers, 10 Eastern. And their game at the Intuit Dome, which will host Olympic basketball in 2028. Going around through the NHL and the NBA, trying to get you a clearer picture of the Mike Sullivan front. The Rangers are close to hiring Sullivan as their head coach. They're in advanced contract talks, as reported by Emily Kaplan and Kevin Weeks just an hour ago. It's expected to be one of the richest coaching contracts in NHL history. He'll head to New York in a move that's coming together 3 days after he left his position with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He coached there for 10 seasons, winning back-to-back Stanley Cups in 2016 and 2017. The Penguins missed the playoffs for the last 3 years amid a retooling of the roster. David Quinn, Sullivan's top assistant in Pittsburgh, is not expected to join him. He will be a candidate for other head coaching vacancies, including the Penguins. And John Tortorella has a strong possibility to rejoin the Rangers organization. Sullivan, Quinn, and Tortorella were on the coaching staff for Team USA at the Four Nations Faceoff. And Sullivan replaced Peter Laviolette, who was fired after the Rangers missed the playoffs for the first time since 2021, becoming the 4th team in NHL history to miss the playoffs after winning the President's Trophy the previous year. He previously served as the Rangers assistant coach from 2009 to 2013 on Tortorella's staff. He's also the head coach of the Boston Bruins for the 2004 and 2006 seasons. So this is a developing story to watch on later around. And just recently, Mark Scheifele is not traveling with the Jets to St. Louis in Game 6. Scott Arniel said that Scheifele is not traveling and he'll remain in Winnipeg after he missed the second and third periods. And he said that Arniel said, quote, "You're hoping for the best that maybe he wakes up today and things are better. But right now he won't be making a trip and will just go day to day moving forward." That was told before the trip on the flight to St. Louis. The Jets were in the blue zone when Scheifele had just played the puck along the half wall with 13:51 remaining in the opening period. He was instantly checked and hit hard by Braden Shen. Scheifele appeared to be concentrating on the puck and looked as if he did not see Schenn, who connected with the top half of Scheifele's chest and knocked him down to the ice. And Schenn was given a 2-minute penalty for interference and another 2 minutes for roughing. A little more than 10 minutes later, Scheifele was involved in another physical sequence. He was just about to reach the blue zone when Radek Faksa checked him and appeared to have struck him in the same area as the previous hit on Schenn. He finished the first period, but Arniel spoke to the officials as both teams were entering the dressing room before the first intermission. Jim Montgomery confirmed with reporters after the game that Arniel spoke to the officials about the Schenn hit before sharing his thoughts. And Montgomery said, quote, "Let's make it clear. 55 got hurt from the Faksa hit. He played 6 minutes after the Schenn hit. He didn't come back after he got rocked by Faksa." Upon hearing Montgomery's comments, Arniel had some thoughts of his own. "I didn't know Monty got his medical degree and say how our player got hurt. He's way off base and should not make the comment," he said to reporters. "There's some things that have been going on in this series, and that was a repeat of what we've seen before. A player leaving his feet and then hitting a player in a very unprotected spot. Like hitting him in the sense, almost blindsiding him. Not happy with how the call was made. A 2-minute minor. Not even looking at it is what I was upset about." Arniel was asked if Scheifele was in concussion protocol. Well, he said, "I'm not going down that road." There is a strong possibility the Jets could once again turn to Vladislav Nemestikov on the top line like they did in Game 5, elevating him. The second line center would take Scheifele's place on the first line alongside Kyle Connor and Gabe Vilardi. And even though the Knights are out of the Wild, Pavel Dorofeyev is not one of those on the way. He's not playing in this game. Bruce Cassidy said after the team's morning skate in St. Paul that Dorofeyev was day-to-day and was replaced in the lineup by Victor Olofsson. He scored 15 goals this season. Olofsson also takes Dorofeyev's spot on the power play. And Cassidy said, quote, "It's not like we're plugging in a guy that's never scored. So hopefully he picks up some of what Pavs did in terms of his play. We got lots of guys in the line that can do it. We'll miss him, obviously. But we weren't overly reliant on one player anyway." The injury occurred late in the 3-2 overtime victory in Game 5 over the Wild. He started the game on the top line with Jack Eichel and William Karlsson. Mark Stone took Dorofeye's place on the line. The combined lines outshot the Wild 8-3 at 5-on-5 per natural stat trick. The Golden Knights lead 3-2 will try to close out this game and series to avoid a Game 7. So far, Philip Gustafsson was not getting tested. 8-9, Aiden Hill, 17-18. He fresh for the latest update with 12:54 to go in the second period. Not a lot going on between these two teams. But Vegas is on the power play. So you go over the penalty rundown here. Marco Rossi double-minor for high sticking on Braden McNabb. Vegas scoring that power play. Noah Hannafin cross-checking on Ryan Hartman. Nick Hay tripping Marcus Foligno. Brock Faber holding Jack Eichel. That's the penalty summary. So as we go to the NBA side on the recent headlines there. The closely contested series and game. Well, as we move on, that Drew Holiday wins the Sportsmanship Award in the NBA for the second time. He received about 34% of the first place votes cast by nearly 400 current NBA players to decide the award winner. Makes it the 5th player in league history to win the trophy in multiple years. Joins 4-time winner Mike Conley, 3-time winner Grant Hill, and 2-time winners Jason Kidd and Kemba Walker as people to win the award more than once. Sees the Joe Dumars Trophy, named for the Basketball Hall of Famer, 2-time champion and the inaugural winner of the Sportsmanship Award after the 1996 season. Dumars recently left his role as an NBA executive to return to his native Louisiana as the executive vice president of basketball operations for the New Orleans Pelicans. Holiday is a 3-time recipient of the Twyman Stokes Teammate of the Year Award. He's a finalist again for the NBA Social Justice Champion Award. That award has been in existence for 5 years. Holiday has been a finalist for 3 of them. He's a 2-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion. The Sportsmanship Award is the award to be announced by the NBA at the end of the regular season. Steph Curry won the Twyman Stokes Teammate of the Year Award, and his Warriors teammate Draymond Green won the Hustle Award. Those awards, like the Sportsmanship Award, are not selected by the panel of 100 global reporters and broadcasters who vote for other top NBA season awards. So, that's one of the storylines here about Sportsmanship Award. And the Suns make a GM change. Brian Gregory's promoted, James Jones demoted to senior advisor. They have also elevated Oronde Taliaferro to assistant general manager and added basketball operations responsibilities to CIO Paul Rivers' duties. After 2 decades as an NCAA head coach, Gregory will work closely with Suns officials in the front office over the past 2 years. It's a key part of selections to Ryan Dunn and Oso Iguodaro. He now assumes a more prominent day-to-day position. Jones was the GM since 2019, winning Executive of the Year for the 2021 season where they made the NBA Finals. A guy did the 4 straight postseasons. Jones rejoined the Suns organization in 2017 after playing 2 years for them as a player. The Suns are going to make an expansive, wide-ranging search for their next head coach. But we don't know who it's going to be. The third period will be up next in just a moment. I'm Alec Nava. Stay tuned, everyone. And coming down to what is next. We are beginning the third period here in Ottawa. The Senators, with their backs against the wall, once again facing elimination. They were in a back and forth game 4. That game went to overtime. The Sens were in front 2 separate times. The Leafs had tied it every time. The Leafs, here we go. The Leafs leading in this game, never trailing. They're 37-1-1 when leading after the second period this season, including playoffs. Craig Berube wants to get his guys locked in right now. Matt Nyes will drop it off for Mitch Marner. Rips it and is stopped by Omark. Over to the far corner with Sanderson. Moved out and is scooped up by the Leafs. Will back all the way. And starting up is Jake McCabe for Chris Tanev. Or Brandon Carlo, rather. McCabe again. McCabe. Almost pickpocketed by Giroux. Keeps his stick on the puck. Carlo going after the Sens, get a quick shot. And this one bounced up. Off the glass. Jensen on the keep. Blocked in front. And is loose right behind the net. Chopped away at by one of the Leafs. It's kept inside by Giroux. Giroux sends one to Chabot. Chabot loads up. Ripper! Stopped by Stolarz! It's an uphill battle for the Sens. They trailed this game 2-0. They trailed game 2 2-0. They tied game 2 to force overtime. Max Domi at the winner. It was deflected off Pinto. This one. As Stolarz kept it out. A shot for the point went over and up off the glass. Stayed out the entire way. As Thomas Chabot loaded up and as it was gobbled up by Stolarz. And Scott Laughton will be tossed out of the dot. Or will he? Yes. Calle Järnkrok will step in. It'll be Tim Stützle to take the face-off. It's a tie-up. Who will emerge with this? Brady Tkachuk. But he immediately lost it to Scott Laughton. Tim Stützle has slowed down and has moved up at the far half boards. Järnkrok moves around the horn. It's picked up at the point by Matampalo. Tkachuk tied up by Ekman Larsson. Laughton plays it over to near half boards. It's Chabot. Tried to pry free was Laughton. This is held in. Tyler Kleven loads up. Fires kicked out by Stolarz. Picked up by Järnkrok as he sends it down the ice. And it goes out of play. What's the ruling? It went to the bench, so no penalty. It did not go over the glass, so no penalty on the play. So far we stick at just 2 penalties. And the difference maker so far is Ridley Gregg in this game. When it was down 2-0, the Senators hounding the shots on goal. Anthony Stolarz has came up huge each and every time. So Gregg has been making a difference for the Sens, but Stolarz has kept the Leafs in this game. And he's made great save after great save, even keeping a puck out. On the near half boards, nice, chops it free, scoped up, Nylander finds Tavares. Tavares with the back check on him, forced to the near quarter. Fires his one around the horn, the pass is cut off. Tavares tried to keep this one, but can't. It's David Perron, free on free as the one Leaf defender gets back. Can't fire the shot. The Leafs will keep it to themselves. Tavares through the far half boards with Nylander holding, and then across. Swing and a miss by McCabe twice. Now it's Perron to skate this one over to the near half boards. He'll look back and backtrack. Spin it around. Getting it around for the horn. Cutting off is Chris Tanev for McCabe. The shutdown pairing has been stout here so far. Well, plays went down. We're shaken up. Nobody's at the low slot. And Tanev airs this one all the way down. Max Domi will start up at the far zone. Zomi over to Morgan Riley. Riley, shot blocked. It'll be picked up by Nick Cousins. Cousins will start up and it goes off the near side for Zetterlund. Zetterlund fires it around. Carlo rushing back. He beats out Gaudette. Chips it to the near corner. 2 players collide with each other. Chopped out to center ice. And then back comes Ottawa. Gaudette backhands one. The Leafs will restart as the Sens will make changes. Back up front is Austin Matthews and Morgan Riley. Riley around the horn. Nick Jensen the first one there, but the Leafs keep it. Chabot. Matthews arrives behind him. Chabot didn't anticipate him. Marner tried to hold it, but it's Amadio. Ekman Larsson held his own. Mitch Marner. Nobody at the point, but arriving late to it is Simon Benoit. And Marner right behind the net. Tried to feed one out in front. Tight shot gets blocked. And it goes over to the far half boards. It's Amadio. Ekman Larsson shoved this one away. That allows Riley to safely pick it up. And it's Simon Benoit moving up the near side. Nice, tied up. And it bounces behind for David Perron. Jake Sanderson in his own zone. Interestingly, William Nylander was almost ineligible to play this game because the Leafs submitted Alex Nylander for this game. Kept it at the right points and spun around by Perron going over to the near corner. Up with the puck. No pickup here as Cousins tried to hold it. Comes to the slot, whereas the Leafs with this. Scott Laughton plays it to the far side. Foot pass as Järnkrok chases after it. Shy of icing. Matampalo gets tied up. It's right behind, where's Perron on there. Perron backhands one to Bafferson, who gets tied up and on the hold. Bounces over to Järnkrok, who chopped at the puck but missed. Tyler Kleven right behind the play. At the near corner. Kleven leading the way as he backtracks back. Max Pacioretty's line is out there. Kleven will move up the near side. Giroux going towards center. And up the near side. Stützle waving his way inside. Stützle, what a move! The feed! And a missed! Oh my goodness, a big break for the Leafs. John Tavares sends it inside the zone as Omar plays it out. Oh my goodness, that would have been the tying goal. Tim Stützle moves up the near side wall. Stützle cuts his way back inside. Stolarz shut the door. 2 scares there for the Leafs as William Nylander. Conway makes his way by and fires it off Omar. Backhanded from Jensen on for Chabot. Nylander goes for a change. The McMahon lines out there. Fired inside. This takes a bounce. Right onto the Leaf zone and out onto the mesh. Oh, what a scare. Twice that was Tim Stützle. Almost scored for the Sens. First time he cuts around Max Pacioretty and gets one in tight. Stolarz makes a save. There was also a loose puck that came over to the bottom of the left circle, in which the Sens almost got, but a good stick by William Nylander got it away. 2 goals, 2 assists in his last 3 games for Stützle. After being held to 1 point in the beginning of the series, Quevin gets forced to the far corner. Holmberg watching defensively. Chopped it back as Omar plays out of his crease. Picked up by Domi. Loose to the front. The Leafs have it as Omar resets in his crease. Jake McCabe and Omar blocker that one aside. And the Sens survive a scare of their own. As soon as he came out, the Senators were under duress with Max Domi. He almost got that one as it banked off the post. Oh, if you're a goaltender, tend the goal. It was almost harrowed there as Omar proceeded his face-off to his right. Matthews against Pinto. Tie up here. Leafs take it as Matthews finds Nyes. Sanderson off the far boards. And moving up is Ridley Gregg. Gregg sent it around and collected the near corner by Pinto. Shoved towards the wall by Riley. Lift up several times as Carlo can't get it through. Matt Nyes gets bumped. Can't get this one out, but here's Matthews chasing it down. Matthews fed it to himself off the boards. He's all alone, waiting for reinforcements. Chopped it over for Benoit. Simon Benoit, long shot, went wide. Racing for the puck now is Oliver Ekman-Larsson. One Senator got there first. Michael Amadio up the near side. Dumps it off the boards to himself. Lawton got in the way there. And as Leafs recollect, Lorentz and his guys out there again. Järnkrok lost it. And it's chopped back inside by Laughton on the delayed offside. Ottawa moves back across. As a takeaway here from McCabe. Cross-ice pass could not be finished by Järnkrok. Going down low for Lorentz. Laughton loads up with a one-timer. And it goes up high and over the net. All the way down, it is Anthony Stolarz who leads us behind his crease. Just over 6:40 he gone here in this third period. Leafs trying to hold on to a 1-goal lead. This takes a bounce here. Return feed for Tavares was chopped away. Dylan Cousins ran out of room to operate the near half boards. Reinforcements get back as it's bounced out Bafferson and Perron. For the near half boards, Cousins kept it in for the moment. And here's Tavares. John Tavares gets shut down. Nicholas Madden-Paolo first to retrieve with Tavares skating back onto the fray. David Perron lifts this one across, and this one poked away. With the Leafs taking it back up. Up the middle. This is deflected inside by Holmberg as the third line comes out again. Jump by Artem Zub. Backed up onto the near corner is Bobby McMahon. Will look back to the left point for Riley. Chopped it around to Domi, and Riley goes across for Carlo. Carlo fires one, and that one takes a block. McMahon picks it back up. Bobby McMahon for Max Domi. Domi wants to set up shot. Domi to the goal mouth, and that one then go there. Another shot, and that one takes a bounce. Riley sends it around again. Up at the far half boards, Domi on to keep at the far corner. Going to Gretzky's office, there's a shove. Zub picks it up. Still not out, as it's still in Gretzky's office. McMahon helps out Holmberg and Domi. Back to the right point is Carlo. Spins this one around the boards. Back down deep on the tie-up, it is McMahon trying to escape with it. Chabot is tired, so is Perron. Loose towards the front. Over skating there, but helping him out for a quick shot. Went off of Omar and up high. Thomas Chabot finally gets a chance to skate this one out and make some changes for the Sens. On the poke at center ice, and the Leafs will go back with this with Matthews. Matthews flips it to the near corner. Sanderson there to scoop it. Jake Sanderson drops it, and it's Jensen. Jensen for the far side. This takes a bounce. No icing. Simon Benoit beats out Michael Mario and spins around from far to near. Marner is tied up. His puck gets roughed down at center ice, and the Senators want to go back up, but they're tied up. Ridley Gregg was stopped. Laughton. Lorentz sends it inside, takes a fall, and Tyler Quevin will restart. Quevin slows the action down. 9 minutes gone here in this third period. This pass takes a bounce, and it's a goal deep in Toronto's zone. Fight around to the near half boards. Off of Lorentz, and McCabe moves it up. Jake McCabe to the side. It is Järnkrok. Looks Laughton's direction. Quevin there to intercept. Tyler Quevin. Back behind Olmark's cage. Waiting timeout. We're almost at the midway mark of this third period. For how much this game has gone by and moved so quickly. Bouncing pass, and this will be settled down by the Leafs. Moved up the near side. And this will be settled down by Chabot. And Tavares on the tie-up. Takes it to the front. And there was a stick in the lane that ended that threat. Morgan Riley gave it away to Tim Stützle. Claude Giroux takes it back inside. Giroux stops on Carlos' face. One-timer. Bounce onto Stolarz. Loose in the front. And it's cleared out by the Leafs. Nick Jensen fan on the puck. His period's moving by so fast. Giroux with Nylander on him, forcing him wide, and forcing him to make an error pass. Stolarz playing it out. Simon Benoit back up the far side. A bump on Adam Gaudès. He sends it back over to the left point for Quevin, who fakes out Domi. Quick wrister. Stolarz may have gone a piece. On the near half boards. Pacioretty ices it. 9:37 to go. In this long stretch without a whistle, you do not want an icing if you are either one of these two teams, because it's going to give fuel for the other team to get a quick shot and convert it into a goal. Stolarz kicked it out off his left pad. Two-1 the lead here for the Leafs. Brady Tkachuk's line on the bench. They switch units to try to get an advantage. It is the Dylan Cousins line out there. And a face-off false start. But they'll go again. Both Max Domi gets a warning. Cousins wins the face-off, controlled by Chabot. Chabot waits. Chabot to the far side. And this quick wrister goes wide. Chasing out to the puck at the near side. And here's a penalty. That's a penalty against Morgan Riley against Fabian Zetterlund. That'll send the Senators to the power play. They're on their feet here as they want to tie this game up at 2 apiece. Riley shoves Zetterlund to the net, and that is easy as day. We'll be right back. Good offensive zone possession by the Senators as they cycle around the play. Morgan Riley goes off, shoving Fabian Zetterlund to the net. It's the second power play for the Senators, third one in this game overall. Ottawa has not scored on their first power play. Riley for interference, as moving down it's Brady Tkachuk. Tkachuk sending this one back, good stick there, and getting driven to his feet. It's one of the Leafs. Just one shot on goal for the Senators in the previous power play, as that was masterful penalty killing from the Leafs. Taking it up to his near side, Dylan Cousins. Cousins moves it up for the air, gets batted down. The Leafs get in the way, collected at the left point, and then moving down is Bafferson, who gets forced outside by Lorentz. Back to the point, Sanderson. Now Stützle at the top of the right circle. Lorentz has been everywhere, chasing after the puck. Stützle still with it, as it almost was out. Sanderson and Bafferson fan on the pass up for the reception. Tie up down low. Tanev trying to get this one out. Sanderson keeps this one inside. Cross-ice pass and go for Stützle. And it banked off the boards. Chasing after the puck is Scott Laughton. Laughton waits, driving towards the net. Force outside, and Laughton takes a spill. Sanderson was there to stop him from getting towards the net. 48 seconds left on the man of edge. Very nervous energy here on the Senators. 8 minutes left to go on their season. Cross-ice pass missed, and kicking it back is Mitch Marner. Marner waits, and he'll just skate this one back to center. Going across the ice for Austin Matthews. He'll go back and goes a more timeout. Sending this down deep. Ullmark plays this one to the near side. And Marner still pursuing it. Takes a chop at it. Chabot holds. That's actually Calle Järnkrok rather, as Zetterlund sends it back. Almost made its way towards Ullmark, but here's Claude Giroux. Giroux with 13. Moving it across over to Greg. Greg blows by Matt Nyes. Sends one off Stolars and takes another whack at it. It's behind the net. Collected by Nyes. Backhanded but not out. It's kept it at the left circle. Senators moving this one around. Loose stick on the ice that belonged to Greg. 5-on-5 again. David Perron moves down low. Score! David Perron elevates it to the penthouse. And we're level. In his 110th career playoff game, David Perron has tied Game 6 with the Senators facing elimination. He just backhanded one from a sharp angle shot that just beats out Anthony Stolars off his back. That's a seeing eye shot in which it went off his back. There's nothing that Stolars could do. This game is tied. Seconds after the power play expired, the Leafs with the pressure against them. Shots 17 apiece, but this is stick down by Stützle, and he moves it back inside. Intercepted by Oliver Ekman-Larsson as the Leafs want to go back with this. Nylander moved it up for OEL. Carries this one across through the ice. OEL puts one on Ullmark, and he was caught by surprise there. Made the glove save. 6:59 to go in the third period. And this crowd here is roaring at Canadian Tire Center. We'll be right back. Back here as a quick shot gets wide from William Nylander. So now, Toronto, they have led for the majority of this game, but the Sens have tied it up. Toronto has never trailed at any point in this game, but the Senators have tied it up at 2 with David Perron banking off the back of Anthony Stolarz. And the Go Sens Go chants are much louder here. Oh, seriously? We're doing this again, Twitter? Oh my goodness. This is the worst time for this to happen all over again. So I'm not hearing anything. Let's try this again. I'll just do the first step. Shane Pinto moves it up at the far half boards, and offside are the Senators. How in the world is this happening? Technical difficulties. Oh my gosh. If this is a blown... Two third period comeback wins when facing elimination in franchise history. 2004 versus Toronto, 2010 versus Pittsburgh. Just twice it has happened. Trying to make this the third time. Another face-off win by Ottawa as they move it down the near side. It's Chris Tanev. He's bumped. Pontus Holmberg helping him. Up and around, and this goes to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Here's a 2-on-1 the other way. Max Domi. Domi fires up high. Holmberg keeps it inside. Domi will try to scoop it up. Domi has it again. Sends one towards the slot. Score! Toronto back up front! Max Pacioretty, the former Hab, gets the Leafs back to lead. How in the world did the shot end up going wide on the first try, and on the second one, Pacioretty sets up on the slot. Domi catches a piece of the glove hand of Ullmark, and then back behind it, Domi pries it free and sends it to the other Max. Max to Max. Maximum Domi, maximum Pacioretty. Top right corner, Ullmark never saw it, with the big Tyler Kleven setting up the screen that helps the go-ahead goal for Pacioretty. It's 3-2 Leafs. Off the near side, the game was tied briefly, and falling down is one of the Senators. That was Jake Sanderson. Matthews can't hold it. Sanderson regains its composure. Teammates on Team USA and the Four Nations face off, and now this building is eerily quiet. Giroux up the near side. Stützle fell down. Rushing to the puck is OEL. Matthews helps out Stolarz. Austin Matthews bounced up the far side for Mitch Marner, feeding around the boards. Zub is the first one to the puck. Marner on the hole at the far corner. In tow is Riley from the left point, firing this one around. Nice, created pressure. Marner as well. Nice toward the front. Matthews! Oh! That was Scott Laughton, who almost had another one for the Leafs. Just fired that one wide. Shane Pinto takes it in. First one back is Riley. Brandon Carlo scuffles this one up near the Leaf bench. Laughton arrives for support up against the Chabot pairing. Pacioretty from Domi and Holmberg. Pacioretty has his second point tonight. Off the far side, this is Nick Jensen who collects. Scott Laughton turns it over as Jensen, who lost it. Backhanded out by McCabe. And with 4:15 to go, we're going to keep an eye on Ullmark for the rest of this third period for when he's going to come out of his crease to go to the bench for the extra attacker. Not now that is Nylander. Off the near side, here's Bobby McMahon racing in. Save Ullmark. And he'll cover a 4:02. All right, so you come to the final minutes of regulation. We're going to try to solve these technical difficulties by trying to get Ian on board because Twitter is acting up. Can't hear anything from this side. We'll be right back. has been a fun game. And a culmination of what has been a physical and a brutal series. The Toronto Maple Leafs just 4 minutes away from ending the Ottawa Senators season and winning their second playoff series in 3 years. We're not able to get Ian on board because of repeated technical difficulties as McMahon comes back inside with speed. McMahon around Clevin. McMahon backhands one around the boards. Jake Sanderson shot towards the wall, so is John Tavares. Pinto pries it free. Loose out in front. Got to the right circle. Bounces off Omar. And the Senators will regain control. They need to send pucks towards Anthony Stolarz and do it quickly. Up the near side. Poked away by Simon Benoit. Backhanded towards him. And the Leafs get it out. McMahon shoved by Jensen towards the penalty box doors. 3:27 to play. And not much time left in the Senators season if they don't score. For the middle of this, Claude Giroux. Giroux up the near side. Firing this one around. Ekman-Larsson got the first touch. Brady Tkachuk pinned as well. Matthews and Stützle battling for it. Stützle pries it free. Back to the left place, Chabot. Feeds it over to the left side for Stützle, who steps around Matthews. Stützle sends one in front. Bounced off Stolarz. Right behind the net, controlled by Ekman-Larsson. Giroux shoving it towards the wall. Coming free is Stützle. Right out in front comes to Jensen. Glove down. That might be a hand pass. And they might have gotten away with one. This is cleared down for the ice. Batted down by Marner. And the Leafs will make their line changes. Ottawa changes the lines as well. Up at the right side. This is fired deep by Drake Bafferson. Chris Tanev is pinned right behind the boards. Bafferson escaping with this one. Cross-ice pass. Zetterlund couldn't get much of that. Bounced off of Stolarz on the second try. The Leafs trying to get this one out as they're hounding this puck. Long shot, well wide. And Tanev will be the first to collect this one up for Steven Lorentz. Fourth line doing the yeoman's work here defensively. This goes back down low. Tanev, a tie-up. And this will be cleared out by the Leafs again. So it's right about now, which this sense will have to pull Olmark for the extra attacker. Jake Sanderson will start up. And Olmark will be on his way. He's getting a call from Travis Green. And now he's headed there. 2 minutes to go in the Senators season. And they need a goal to tie this one up to send to overtime. Giroux up the near side boards. Backhanded in deep. First arriving there is Stützle. David Perron, the extra attacker out there. From the left point, shot inside. Bounced off of Stolarz right behind the net. And it's Brady Tkachuk in control. Or rather, Tim Stützle after Tkachuk controlled it. Giroux for the far quarter, moving it back out for Sanderson. Back for Perron. Giroux again. With Knight and Matthews shadowing him. Sends one in a goal. And that one took a bounce. Barter trying to get it. Perron as well. Tie up right behind that. Freed up for Giroux. 1:23 to go. Back over to the point. It is Jake Sanderson. Long shot. Blocked in front. Losing his swat. And the Leafs will get this one up and around. Race for this puck. Matt Knight and Tim Stützle. No icing. But the near quarter is held there by Sanderson and Knight. They're trying to break it free. And they will break it free. Thomas Chabot will go back with 1 minute to go. The Senators are hurried up. And William Nylander trying to steal the puck away. Zetterlund fires around 52. Chris Tanev trying to get this one away. John Tavares wrapping up Dylan Cousins. Tanev backhands one behind the net. Zetterlund tying his man up. Loose in the front. Nothing there. Firing down for the ice. And just missed the net. It will turn to an icing. William Nylander had a chance to deliver the dagger. Oh my goodness. What a game. Banks it off the far post and it stayed out. Oh, that painfully close to sealing the deal. So because of this icing call, Craig Berube cannot change lines. He has a goal and assist. 14th career multi-point game. Giroux will take the faceoff for the Senators. 6 skaters against 5 for Ottawa. And everybody jumped here. And so we'll do this over again. Ryan Daisy giving Giroux a warning. Matthews to take the draw. Giroux wins it. Back for Stützle. Over to the point. Walking is Sanderson. Fades it over around the boards. 31 seconds left. Down low is Giroux. He is tied up. Cousins frees it up. On the left side is Bafferson. Sanderson loads one up. Blocked in front. And the Leafs will take this one. Nylander. Nylander has an open net. On the way penalty. Icebreaker. Game saver. William Nylander with the dagger. Maple Leaf faithful, exhale. Nylander had a nightmare Game 5. Craig Berube said that this should be a team effort all around heading into Game 6. And here, everyone stepped up as Nylander was tripped up by Jake Sanderson. And he finally put away the backhand on the empty net to seal the deal. The Maple Leafs will march on to an Eastern Conference semifinal date with the Florida Panthers. It is Nylander who seals the deal. In a series-clinching scenario, they get the job done on the road. As Ottawa's season ends here, they have everything to be proud of. One more stoppage by Stolarz. Another save there. The whack in front for fourth time saved. Clevin picks it up and it's swiped away. That's it. The Toronto Maple Leafs survive and will move on to a second round match with the Florida Panthers. A huge collective sigh of relief by the Leafs of Anthony Stolarz sealing the deal, stopping 20 of 22 and making clutch stop after clutch stop. What a win it is here as Max Pacioretty and William Nylander were huge on the win, and Stolarz as well. Ottawa made things interesting, making this a 3-2 series. But the Leafs, having the momentum here of Craig Berube focusing. Chris Tanev said they were not worried heading into this game. Pacioretty, the hero. And how fitting that was another experienced vet that gets the series winner. Pacioretty is inserted into the lineup in Game 3, taking Nick Robertson out. And Pacioretty, who was held off the score sheet in the first 3 games that he's played, showed up when it mattered the most, with a goal and an assist. And the handshake line, an ages-old tradition, with the captains leading the way, and an end of a hard-fought rivalry that spans 6 heavy-hitting, exhausting, grueling, and physical games. At the end of it all, the Leafs are still dancing, and they will head on back to Maple Leaf Square to host the Florida Panthers. And Pacioretty started his career as a Canadian. Played with the Vegas Golden Knights. 5 games with the Carolina Hurricanes. A few seasons with the Washington Capitals. He's delivered the winning goal, playing a physical role on the third and second lines. Now a middle sixer after being a top liner. These last 2 series wins have both come on the road for the Leafs. Fans chanting Brady here to support Brady Tkachuk. And the Senators have a lot to be proud of. It's only up from here. Talk about how huge Jake Sanderson is. He scored the winning goal in Game 4 of this series to get the Senators their first playoff game win in 8 years. There's hope at Canada's capital again. But the Leafs, huge performances from Stolarz, Pacioretty, Matthews, Nylander. Everyone showed up huge. And how about Claude Giroux, who encouraged his Senators teammates, we can do this. He was a part of the 2010 Flyers team that came back from a 3-0 series deficit. He and Berube have a lot of respect for one another. Giroux was coached by Berube on the Flyers' previous career. And the emotions here toiling down. And David Perron making a handshake with Berube. The two won a Stanley Cup together in St. Louis in 2019. And the Tkachuk family, all very good friends all around. Brady there. Keith Tkachuk also there to support him. The future is bright for the Senators at last. And yes, it can be said again, the rebuild is done. And one last goal horn blaring to salute the crowd, the Ottawa Senators, on what has been a fantastic season for them. That's going to do it from Canadian Tire Center. The Maple Leafs lead. The Maple Leafs win the game 4-2. They win the series 4-2. And I am Alec Nava saying good night from Canada's capital.